Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to the next episode of Raging Rhino. Sorry, Casual Rage. How are we all tonight? I hope we're all doing well, or this morning, depending on where you are in the world. And Stig, I don't even know what time it is for you. What time is it?
Almost 2:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. Well, good afternoon to you. And anyone tuning in from where Norway, I've been to say Sweden. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hello, Jeff. How are we tonight? Mandalorian Jeff, Mando Jeff.
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on as usual. Appreciate it.
That's a pretty
Ready
cool.
to talk some Star Wars and talk some shit about some Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it for sure. I've had a very emotional up and down day with everything that's been going on. Tim,
Greg.
Yeah, he looks awesome. Tim, how are we this evening?
What's your designation, trooper? I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. There was a couple of moments in this episode. It took me a while to get actually even just to watch it. But we'll get into that very, very shortly. Semi-bisexual Tuscan Bob.
Good morning,
Greg. What? I don't even know. How are we?
I'm doing great.
That's good. You're doing great.
Yeah,
Much better than I am.
Star Wars is saved. I'm excited.
Saved.
So funny
Saved.
with your eyebrows doing what it's doing. Disney Star Wars is saved.
I'm kind of worried though that I have this love arrow pointed at me while
Yeah,
talking
he's
about
gonna
Star Wars.
He's gonna shoot you with the love arrow. How are we, Stig? How are you doing on this fine afternoon for you?
I'm doing quite well, and I'm in good company too, so I'm extra happy.
Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on again. We had you not last week because we didn't do Casual Rage last week. The week before we had you on, which was pretty cool. So thank you for coming back.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure which channel I'm on. I'm with all you guys at the same channel quite often.
Yeah, so it could have been on the Raging Geek Jedi show on the Geek Blends channel. It could have been anywhere.
He was on the show this past weekend.
Yeah. But let's quickly say hello to the chat. We've got Lord Vader. We've got the usual suspects, of course. We have, I'm going to call you Inquisitor from now on. We have the Inquisitor in the house. Hello, Casual Rage say, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, hail. And, of course, Tim, hailing the chat. Thank you. And Blake. We have Blake. We have Lethal Lightning. No, we have Lethal Big Dick Motherfucking Lightning in the house. He's been trolling some people. Who else we got?
He wouldn't do that. He doesn't.
No, not at all. We've got Lyndon Hall, of course. Welcome, Lyndon. Yes. What the fuck is that?
It's the new it's the lead character for the next Disney Star Wars show.
That's a High Republic character.
That's true.
It's actually the Acolyte.
Young Darkstar. We have in the house. We have Jade Shadow. Mara, hello and welcome. That's all I can see in the chat so far. So I think most of us have actually all watched this episode of The Mandalorian. But before we get into that, we're actually going to talk about some of the Star Wars announcements from today. If anybody follows me on Twitter, I was outraged by a few things, and I will give my reasoning and my points behind it. But we will go into that, I think, first, because I really just want to get that out of the way. It's like the elephant in the room. Let's just there. All right, let me bring it up and talk about a few things. I actually hate this picture, and it's for one main reason, actually. There's only really one part of this image that I really don't like, and that's this.
Yeah, the one who had nothing to do with the shows anymore.
Yep. Sam, hello. Subscribe to Lethal. Awesome. Subscribe to me, please.
Me too.
Yeah.
And everybody else on the panel. Okay.
Maybe a month ago, someone told me about quite a few of these shows and that they're going to be announced. And the person was spot on. The person also said they're going to be worse than you think in terms of identity politics and shit.
Well, yeah. Definitely.
Well, yeah. One of the directors is from some show, or producers from something about white. I forget what the name of it was.
Oh yeah, Dear White People.
Let me look. It up.
Yes.
Yeah, Dear White People. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have
So I'm sure that's gonna be
the Acolyte show is being helmed by Harvey Weinstein's acolytes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just quickly, yes, I'm definitely looking at that. When we go back to normal casual rage, where we're sorry to interrupt it here, just when we go back to normal casual rage, we will still probably talk about a few topics. I definitely am going to be doing Cobra Kai versions of casual rage, and Greg, please watch it.
Not a chance.
I still haven't watched it either. So
But we will be doing video breakdowns. We will be e-fapping maybe a few times. So, yeah.
Is it okay that I don't know what e-fapping means?
Every frame of pause.
Oh,
So it's like you watch a.
It's not
quick
whacking
bit
off
and-
online.
yeah,
And then
it's not.
oh yeah, it's like that scene
Shit, I'm
in.
gonna get.
It's like that
No.
scene from Under Siege when Erica Eleniak pops out of the cake. It's like that,
That
but
makes
not
people
with a
EFAP.
remote control.
Yes,
yeah.
that makes people EFAP a lot.
Yeah, then yeah, they fap off.
Sorry, I just had to highlight that. Yes, I will give my. Sorry, continue the discussion that you were having. Stig, you were saying something about all of this, and
Yeah, it's gonna be from what I heard from someone who seemed to have been spot on about the announcements. It's gonna be worse than people think because we know almost nothing about these shows yet, right? But apparently they're gonna be, they're gonna be woke, very much so.
well, we know that this is pretty much going to be the Acolyte.
Yes,
Because that's the one that they've described as female-centric. So that's female-centric. Based on the casting call that we've seen for Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was all like, oh, this is going to be woke, and now that Hayden Christensen's been announced to be in it, and it's like, yes! But I'm really scared with that.
Well,
Okay.
I'm
Willow,
worried about the Bad Batch. I mean, they're clones, so there's going to be no diversity.
you know,
yeah,
Willow.
true.
Willow, the original movie, he's protecting a girl baby.
Yep.
Alora Dana.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sound familiar?
Willow isn't going to be... Willow's not a Star Wars thing, though.
no, it's all
Well-
No,
movie.
it's a Lucasfilm thing.
Well,
It's
it
a
might be
thing,
connected
yeah.
to Star Wars, actually. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
All right, these are my biggest problems with everything that happened today. The first thing is Bob Iger said that we were going to slow down with Star Wars and really, get our stories right and stuff like that. Now, I look at The Mandalorian and go, if this is the best that you're giving us, then I don't want any more of this, really. Like, I know there's people out there that would say that they want something rather than nothing, and that's fine to want that. But to be honest with you, I've now, like after today, I am now fully separated the EU and everything. Disney Star Wars is never coming back to what, like, we will never feel what we felt when we were kids or anything like that anymore. And Bob Iger said that they were going to slow down, and then they come out and announce 10 fucking shows after what,
Star
a
Wars
year
fatigue.
since,
Well, it's easy to write these shows when you only need 19 pages for a script.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and actually, this is something I've noticed. Every time someone's praising The Mandalorian, right? It's we got to see Ahsoka, it was awesome, or we got to see the Crate Dragon, or we got to see Boba Fett. Nobody's talking about the writing.
Yeah,
About any
We
great
are.
story
well, we
points
are.
or-
We talk about the story. There's no story there. I
Extensively.
mean, you get to the end. We're seven episodes into the Mandalorian right now, and what's the story? The baby's, like literally, he's had the child taken from him, and that's
He
all
does
that's
side
really happened.
quests.
Like
He does side quests.
it's so bad. Well, that's my first thing with Bob Iger saying what he said about slowing down and really getting the stories right and things like that. As long as the trilogy that they made is still in place or they still consider it canon and they're moving into that whatever, it doesn't even seem like they're moving into that either. It's like, let's just hang around this same area all the time because that's how we're going to get everyone back. And this is a massive money grab because they're fucking under the pump because they haven't had a year of anything. And it's like, fuck. It's like a few people have said, let's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Second thing is that Kathleen Kennedy is still at the helm. This proves that she's not going anywhere. To me, it does anyway. I'd be very surprised if we get to the... Yeah, I'd be very surprised if we get to the end of her contract and it's not renewed. And
if she is the producer on all of this, she's not going anywhere.
I told you guys like a month ago. I knew she wouldn't go anywhere.
And not only that, but remember, guys, she was the producer for the Disney Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
Remember that. And she got involved because of diversity and because of all of this other crap. So don't fucking, this is okay. It's all being produced by her. All of it. Majority of these, my third problem, sorry, I just want to go through my points. I mean, you can jump in and stuff. I just want to quickly go through my points because I haven't had a chance to really say all of this. My third thing is the majority of these things are that they're being promoted as like a female-centric. I don't have a problem with having strong female characters. I just finished reading a book from the EU that has a very, very strong female character, and her sacrifice and what she did in that book was just fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
and that book is Darth Maul Shadow Hunter. It is fucking unreal. If you haven't read it, fucking read it. It's so good. It happens effectively just before the events of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
And it ties into Darth Plagueis too. So
yeah, and it ties into Darth Plagueis, correct. My fourth and final point, and I brought it up sort of earlier, is the fact that if this is what you want, and when I say this is what you want, I'm talking about The Mandalorian. If this is good enough for you, good enough Star Wars for you, well done. You're going to get 10 more versions of that kind of crap writing and crap fucking... There's one moment in this episode of The Mandalorian where all the pirate things turn on the thermal detonator. If I wasn't so pissed off from today, I actually would have laughed out loud, and it wouldn't have been a good laugh out loud.
I was waiting for Maul.
I was laughing the whole episode.
It was like... I thought that this episode was kind of fun. Effects-wise, it was very, very good. But again, it has its issues. And I know that throughout what George Lucas gave us, there has been its issues. But not to the point where it takes you either out of the movie or out of the show, or to the point where you're sitting there going, but why? What? And oh my God, my mind's just been blown because this idiot can't fucking do a simple thing. Or you've got people, the pirates with staffs running to the gate to a bunch of stormtroopers with blasters, and they just keep running.
That was hilarious.
I would have laughed out loud.
Don't turn around and run
if
away
I
or anything
wasn't
like
so pissed about what I saw today. And today, Star Wars. Today,
Keep running. Don't turn around. Just keep going.
Today, Star Wars officially died for me because if this is what we all want, that's
Welcome
not
to
what
the
I
party,
want.
pal.
If this is what if this is what
Christmas time.
if this is what Star Wars has been reduced to, and people are okay with that, and when I say they're okay with, you can be okay with it, right? But that's the limit that we're going to get, and I can't have that as Star Wars. So I am now 100% moving away from this bullshit, and I'll be doing like reviews of Shadowhunter and reviews of EU books and things like that, because that is Star Wars. To me, that is Star Wars. They're actually funny. I'm going to try and talk amongst yourselves about this now.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy being deposed is not the paradigm-shifting event that would change anything. It would be a situation where the Queen is dead, long live the Queen. For Star Wars to get back on track, a lot more would have to happen, and we lost Greg. And it would have to be a lot of very unlikely things. So I think they're on a course that is not correctable, past the point of no return, going over the waterfall, whatever you want to say, over the cliff. It's over, and this just puts the nail in the coffin. And some of the dialogue and the episode today does as well, and we can go into that when we talk about the episode. But just because she's leaving doesn't mean anything, because whoever takes her place would continue the same things, albeit not as in a strong manner as she would, but it would still be the same stuff. So,
to be fair, whoever takes over could be even worse, because
correct.
I don't see them hiring a guy after they've had a woman. The SJWs would lose it, and they're obsessed with catering to SJWs.
You're right. So that's my point. It could get worse. So just because she's gone, yay, oh no, everything's the same. That's what would happen. So I've never been concerned with her leaving, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I see a lot of people going, oh yeah, they're gonna appoint Favreau. No, they're more likely to appoint Leslie Headland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially if that Acolyte show gets any kind of interest. They don't even have to prove the watch numbers. Then they have their justification.
Okay, now I know I keep bringing this up. I found what I wanted to find. I know I keep bringing this up, but it is a big point. And Stig, I'm so happy that you tagged me in this. I'm so happy that you found this. This is what I mean when, if you're happy to have Star Wars reduced to what they're giving us, then that's cool. That's cool, because that's as good as you're going to get, right? The writing is horrible, right? Yeah. But when it comes to
get much worse, because you're talking
because
about
they're female centric.
Well, no, you're talking about they're gonna put three shows in the same time period, taking place at the same time concurrently, and they can't keep canon and their stories straight in one.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, they're trying to do Arrow, The Flash, and Supergirl.
Yes.
Now we will get into the Mandalorian. I know the titles. It's mainly the Mandalorian that we're supposed to be going through, and we will definitely do that. Stig, can you explain this? Where did this come from? Where did you find this?
Oh, it was from the comic I read today after I talked to you.
Yeah.
It's in the Agent of the Empire or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a guy who is the James Bond of the Empire. It's awesome. I had never heard of these comics before, but it was in one of the omnibuses, and I noticed that one. And yeah,
guys, this is in damn near every book and comic and reference book. Almost probably 80% of them. This is a plot point.
Yeah, and why do you think interdictor cruises were invented?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is Leia, right?
No.
I was curious because it doesn't look like Leia, and he calls her sweetheart. But I suppose he does call every chick sweetheart. It's just, hey, sweetheart, yeah. So she's asking, can we make the jump to light speed? Han says, not inside the planet's gravity well, sweetheart. Not unless we want to tear the ship apart.
Yeah.
So
that's what happens if you do that.
Again, the lore in what they're doing is like, we talked about this. I think it was actually on the Raging Geek Jedi show. Yeah, it was.
I know you and Tim have talked about it, and Alora has talked about it.
Well, Greg, do you have something to say about the lore, like from our conversation on Twitter?
Yeah. Hopefully my audio's better. Let me know.
Yeah, it sounds great.
That's way better.
Right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like, I can't even get into the lore issues at this point because the plot issues are so mind-numbingly stupid that I can't even begin to care about things like light, hyperspacing out of atmosphere within the planet its gravity well, when I'm looking at things like they have computers that just don't like you to wear helmets. They don't actually scan your face to see if you're an authorized user. They just want to make sure you have a face. Like, that's how dumb these shows are, or this particular show is, and it's not just one episode here and there. It's like every goddamn episode. It's like either the characters are stupid, the bad guys are stupid, or just they write themselves into these situations where it's like it doesn't even make sense. Like this fucking episode with the helmet thing. Like, you got to be kidding me. He's got to take off his helmet. Why? So the computer can scan him.
Scan his face.
And
he had to
why
take
would
off.
a computer? Why would a computer need to scan your face
To give you access and obviously
to verify your identity?
Yeah, correct. So how is he getting access into an Imperial computer
Yeah, that's
when he's
kind
a
of
Mandalorian?
dumb.
Yeah, we know.
Like, so literally the way the computers work is they don't care who you are, as long as you're not wearing a helmet, you're good.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars.
I'm waiting for the apologists to ask if they'll follow up and say maybe Din was in the Empire at some point, and that's not going to happen, folks.
But earlier in the episode, they kind of established that, like, if you're on file for whatever reason, like, they can't be in. They can't go in, but except for Bill Burr's character for some reason, I don't know.
Yeah, the criminal.
I have something to say about that moment when he walks in and sees the guy and walks out, and then he walks in. And anyway, I'll get into that. Can anybody answer this for Blake? Because I think
there's two.
I didn't end up watching any. Like, again, I was at work when all of this was going down. I was fuming at work, man. Fuming.
I think there's two sizzle reels. The show no one wants, the Cassian Andor show, had a sizzle reel. Bad Batch.
Bad Batch had a trailer.
I did see a bit of that
and
one.
Something else, it seems like. I'd have to look at the pictures again.
Yeah, the
stuff
animated
did,
one's very easy.
Yeah.
See, for me, this is hard for me because, again, I think I've mentioned in previous videos that the Clone Wars, one of the biggest things that I liked about the actual Clone Wars was the clones. And I do like, I don't know, I like the animation, I like the clones, I liked that story. So for me, the Bad Batch, I do have a little bit of a soft spot for that, I suppose, but it depends on how they go about it. That's the problem that I have. I have no confidence whatsoever. As long as Kathleen Kennedy's still in place, as long as all they keep promoting these things as is female-centric or diverse or whatever else whatever terminologies they want to use, as opposed to this is the story that we're going to get, right? And this is what this, like, where's the substance? Where's the substance in the promotion, right, of these things? There's nothing. It's female-centric. All right, awesome. Yay! That's all we need. Is that all we need? And then again, like I said, we've just been talking a little bit about the Mandalorian's writing and stuff like that. You can't even talk about the lore issues because the writing issues are so bad in it. I mean, we're getting 10 series. They can't even get this one right, but yet they think they do because the praise for it and all of that sort of thing. And again, if you like it, good for you.
And if you bring up the...
I just can't keep lying to myself, sitting there with a smile on my face going, yeah, this is a 7 out of 10. Like, I can't keep doing that because it's not. And again, like, I know it's probably a little over emotional because of the announcement from today and exactly how I feel about those announcements. If man, I would love to see an Obi-Wan series. You don't think I want to see Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan, playing that role and going through his emotional fucking
Not
his
in the time
emotions
period
on
that it's set in.
Tatooine?
Not a whole
Right.
show.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Just read the book. It's better.
I've read the book and it's fantastic. I mean, again, if they were to do that, there's a strong female lead in that.
Yeah.
A very strong female lead.
But it's
who
not a
unfortunately
bi
gets-
person of color female lead.
Yeah, but they
they want.
could just do that. I mean,
That's the
but,
casting call that was put out. It's going to be a bisexual female woman of color, and they're going to cuck the shit out of him. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, you
They're
know,
going to make. She's going to know
my-
everything, and he's not going to know anything.
My point
He was
is,
he's just a
is
Jedi
that,
fucking master.
again, if people, this is why I've said for the last 2 or 3 weeks before any of this even happened, if Kathleen Kennedy keeps her job because of Mando, I will blame the fans. And I'm talking very generally here. I'm talking about people like Star Wars Theory and, you know,
Star Wars Theory. You're right.
those bigger guys, not just people within the Phantom Menace and things like that. Everyone that's giving this a pass, when they understand the laws and they understand story, I mean, again, the writing, the direction of this episode in regards to, like I said, the biggest thing for me that I had the biggest problem with, again, was the pirates. What are they even... Okay, so they don't want to steal the stuff, they just want to blow it up? Okay, to stop the Empire from being there. Okay, I can kind of justify that in my own head, right? But then they're fighting with gaffy sticks and not gaffy sticks, but they're fighting with sticks and thermal detonators, but they don't have any blasters. They got thermal detonators, but no blasters.
They have repulsor lift technology.
And they've got repulsor lift technology, correct? I just don't know.
yeah, you know,
I blame every fan that gave this show a pass and fully praised it. I've sat there and I've said this episode was good. I've sat there and I've said that these parts of it are okay, but I've always had these issues there. I've never given this a 10 out of 10. I've never given this 100% pass or anything like that. So,
yeah, but you know, rewind a couple of years, right? And the sequel trilogy, what was being bashed in the sequel trilogy? It was the writing. The bad writing was what got the stick. And all of a sudden, equally bad writing on this show is given a pass by the same people.
I know.
It's weird.
It is weird. And it's a little frustrating. A little frustrating. It's quite frustrating. And like, again, I put that video out there from the rant that I had from the Raging Geek Jedi show last night. And I said at the end of that, I really don't want to take away from anyone's enjoyment of the show. And I really actually don't, because if you are getting some sort of enjoyment out of it, I mean, I can watch this. And if I just watch it through and don't think really about it, it can be enjoyable because it's you know, flashy bang, you know, it looks good. It really does actually look good. I mean, when you see Slave One flying off, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
it does. I'm not denying that. But again, it's kind of like, this is why it sort of feels like the Phantom Menace. The Force Awakens for me.
Because I'll say this.
The Force Awakens
like
was
Rise
like
of
the Flash.
Skywalker.
No, I'd say it's more like the Force Awakens, because once we got to The Last Jedi, everybody looked back on that and saw the flaws in it. They finally actually went, even myself, man, I watched that movie every day between the day that it came out on DVD to the point that every day, every night when I was going to bed, I'd put that movie on, a movie that I'd fall asleep to.
Me too.
I would say season 1 is The Force Awakens. I would say The Mandalorian skipped The Last Jedi. And what we're getting in season 2 now is more like Rise of Skywalker in terms of just the writing and
Ahsoka.
The waypoint kind of missions, the MacGuffin hunts, that sort of thing. And we skipped The Last Jedi in the sense that The Last Jedi stood out in that it destroyed Luke Skywalker. The show doesn't really have anybody to destroy yet. They're mostly
Boba Fett.
I mean, Boba Fett, but like Boba Fett doesn't rise to the level of like destroying Luke Skywalker. So I would say that like Boba Fett's like rooting Lando in Tyros. So
Yes.
Well, I still think that come season 3, Boba Fett dies and Mando takes his ship. That's just my prediction.
I think Mando dies, and then I think Mando's going to die.
I think The Mandalorian's going to have 3 seasons and then be done because they're going to move on to these other shows.
I agree.
Because if you look at the
Didn't they
production
say
things,
3
like
seasons though?
Yeah, but they could have gone on to a 4th if they really wanted to. I suppose.
I don't think they want to. I think they want to go into the other one, and if Pedro's going to be an issue, they're going to be hard to. It's going to be hard to retain him for additional seasons.
Well,
past what they signed.
The goal of the Mandalorian is not to tell a great story. It's to serve as a
launch
hub
others.
for
It's the
spin-off
spin-off
stories.
shows.
Yep. But once you get the spin-offs launched, you don't need the original anymore, and
Nope.
I think that's where it's going to go. Because
We'll
look
get
at
into
Cassian
that,
Andor's
Stephen. Sorry.
2022 was what that's the show that's been in development like the longest, hasn't it? And it's going to be 2 years
one?
yet.
Which one?
Isn't it?
Cassian Andor.
Isn't
Oh,
it
yeah.
a really shit feeling though that if they had just done what George thought they would,
Oh, that's right. Lord Vader's right.
Rogue One and the Cassian Andor show would have been the Kyle Katarn show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but going back to what Ryan was saying earlier, like I can't get that high-pitched scream out in your one video where you were saying it feels like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. I mean, I've been thinking about that all day yesterday and today.
Oh, I want to make a point on that. I like. Don't get me wrong here, guys. I feel like there is
I know, right?
such thing as a feeling of something, but when I look at something like Star Wars, it's not like we ever said, Episode 1 was trash, but it feels like Star Wars. We never said that, there's this dialogue in Episode 2 that's just horrible, but it feels like Star Wars. It's just been Star Wars or it's not Star Wars. This whole thing that at least it feels like Star Wars. I don't know.
Question.
I don't know. I don't
Question
know.
for the panel:
Yeah.
Rogue Squadron. How the hell is that even gonna be Rogue Squadron without Wedge and Luke?
Exactly.
Wedge and Luke were Rogue Squadron, and was
don't
his
think
name
they care.
Corin Horn as well?
They don't know
They don't
that.
care.
They don't fucking
Well,
know
this
that
is
shit.
the
They
thing.
know
like,
it, they just don't care.
They've
Yeah, because
dropped, they've
it's
dropped that
canon.
canon. But they've dropped. Is it canon within what they consider canon in Disney's canon?
Oh, no, it's not.
No.
No,
No.
so they can do whatever they want, but they can pluck from the EU when they want to,
Yeah, but
even though they
it's-
threw it completely in the bin, which then
It's going to
just
be a female
affects the
commander.
EU, which then
Oh,
pisses
just like
the EU
it'll just
fans
be like a
off.
Squadrons game.
Yeah, it's
Somebody will have
you know,
pronouns and shit too.
oh yeah, it's canon that Wedge retired due to injury, shortly after Return of the Jedi. But like it was said just now, it's going to be like pronouns people and all that. So I guess they're going to be flying LGBTQ wings,
Yeah,
or something.
all
Well-
the letters of the alphabet.
This is the
Can I
one that
just
pisses
say-
me off the most because there's so much potential. I was talking about a Rogue Squadron miniseries like 15 years ago, how awesome it would be. But now that it's here, it's just like the Obi-Wan thing. Oh, it's what I want to see, but I don't want to see this because we know it's going to be. And the reel they had for that one had that lady, the Wonder Woman lady, I think. What's her name? Patty Jenkins. Yeah, so she's going to be on this, and she had this reel, and I really hate to say anything call someone disingenuous when their family
She
member
was talking about that,
served and died, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're going to milk that for all it's worth, and it's not going to be what we expect.
They were trying to sell it as like a Top Gun. And
Yes, and I don't think it's
like,
going to be that.
Even the music in that video or whatever is like,
I know.
sounds awful lot, very very close to Top Gun theme music. So
Yes, so it's not.
quite getting there.
Yeah, it's not going to be what we expect. It's not going to be anything like the video games, the Rogue Squadron video games, the novels, the comics. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be some bastardized, watered down version that just destroys the image and the idea of what Rogue Squadron is, and that's what's sad.
Rogue Squadron is pointless because all they have to do is take a cheap A-wing or something, put a droid in it, and have it hyperspace through an enemy Star Destroyer. Then you win.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, that's all they have to do. Cheap
Steve,
droid,
that's
cheap
one in
ship.
a million, so you would need a million ships.
Yeah, but even if it's the one in a million, they'll still do damage.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, see, the funny thing is like, if it doesn't work, you still have the ship, so you can keep trying it. Right? Because if you don't collide with the other vessel when you
I gotta try that again.
You just go through them, and then you just kind of turn around and do it again.
Yeah.
Just keep trying. Well, that one didn't work.
Okay.
Trying for another pass.
Let me just say this. If Disney Star Wars was good, canon was tight, the lore was tight, and everything was okay with Star Wars, the things on this list that I would probably be looking forward to would be the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, definitely the Bad Batch, and I think I've explained why. Probably the Ahsoka series, because I am an Ahsoka fan, or at least I was. I honestly can't really say whether or not I am anymore. I don't think I am. The Lando series wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. Again, I'm only saying this if everything was hunky-dory, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rogue Squadrons, they would actually be good because it would be based on the correct lore and the correct characters and things like that. So they'd probably be the things. I mean, if they invented the character like Cara Dune and they were going to do something like this and that was based around her, I wouldn't mind seeing that. But again, if everything was good and tight, I had a little bit of a thing with her in this episode where she's punching guys with helmets on again.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Oh gosh.
The Rangers thing. I think Tim might recognize this, but in the EU, there's the Antorian Rangers, right?
Yep. And there's also Rangers, and I'm gonna make a video about that. But yeah, there's just straight up Galactic Rangers as well. They introduced in West End. But yeah, Antorians are other kinds. Yeah.
Oh, this Lando series is definitely going to be. We're going to find out how he sticks his dick in droids.
Yeah.
We're going to.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Mara asked what the droid story was, and I'm like, that's the second Lando show they're coming out with. So
that's the animated one. That's the one for kids. See, this is going to be the PG version for kids of Lando's story. This is going to be like the R-rated adult version of Pando Lando.
No,
You don't say
I
to
think
me,
the droid story is going to be about the personal experience and how that droid Lando touched deals with life afterwards.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be like a droid on a couch in an office. Like, where did Lando touch you?
So
obviously in the backup.
Yeah.
maybe we want to save this for Saturday night, but I think it would be fun to go through these and say, here's the percentage chance that these will actually materialize. Maybe we can do that Saturday.
We'll do that Saturday night because, again,
Yes.
I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I actually want to move on to the episode of The Mandalorian. The only other thing that I want to say is who really gives a fuck about the Andor series? And what the fuck is Star Wars Visions? Like, is it honestly just a series of, like, historical visions that happened over time? Like, what Anakin saw and, like, I don't know. Did anyone happen to hear any information about that?
It's
Maybe
animated.
It's a documentary.
It's animated.
It is animated, and it's Hal Hickel too. So.
Yep. Super woke.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's a train wreck.
That's what we all want, isn't it? More woke crap.
What is Indiana Jones? Is that a series?
No, it's going to be the 5th movie, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch the actual thing. I just watched the sizzle reels and
Here's a
Ryan
question.
Kinnell's video.
Here's the question for the entire panel. Are you going to watch any of these?
Yeah.
Yes, so I can endlessly mock them.
Yes.
But I won't pay for
I will
them.
watch them to review them.
This is where I'm at with it in regards to this.
Because, like I've said before,
I
hate what Disney's doing, I'm still going to give it a chance. And if it's bad,
No, I'm not
going
going to give it a chance. I'm going to criticize it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
if I go into something and I'm
done.
expecting to criticize it, but it turns out to be good, I'll say it's good.
I'm done with chances. The chances are over. Kathleen Kennedy's staying as long as she's at the helm. I don't care what anyone says. this shit is going to be continually influenced by her crap. And again, if the Mandalorian is good enough, then none of these are going to be any good. To me, they're not going to be any good. That's my thoughts on it. But here's where I'm stuck on it. It's like what Tim said. You know, I can watch these to criticize them. I went through a very painful day today, I will say, with how I felt about everything that happened with all these announcements and all this kind of crap. And how some people were talking about it, and nothing, no one specific or anything like that. But it's kind of like what Sig was saying, how you can criticize this for this, but then when it comes to this, it's like it's either they decide to overlook it, or it's not that much of an issue. But to me, it's the same as that.
I had a thing happen today when someone pointed out when I criticized the Mandalorian, right? I was being a snobbish elitist, and the same person,
That's sort of where
when I applied lore or arguments and stuff to the sequel trilogy, was, thanking me for the great points and you're awesome and blah blah blah. But as soon as I did the same thing to the Mandalorian, I was a snobbish elitist.
Hey, where did it go? It just jumped on me as soon as I clicked that. Keshi Queen, hail. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you.
And just to be clear, I can be a bit snobbish. It wasn't happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was probably just you being you, so.
What's up, human? Hail, there's a few more people coming in. I think there's a few people waking up on this fine morning. Good morning to all you Americans waking up right now and joining us here. Thank you. Okay, there is one more part of this. Sorry, I didn't get to finish my thought. The thing that tears me up right now is that I can make videos to criticize it and all of this sort of thing, but it's so painful for me to watch that I almost don't want to watch it anymore. So I'm almost tempted to just turn my channel into a Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of Marvel because I don't care so much about it, so I can watch that and maybe criticize it a bit more if there are criticisms there to be given. Because I do believe that that's going to be going woke as a little bit as well.
Absolutely.
If you're a gamer, you could do The Witcher as well.
Yep.
Well, actually, whether or not I'm a gamer or not, when it comes to the Witcher series, I'll probably do that because I definitely enjoyed the first season. But again, from what I'm hearing with that's going to be sort of moving in that sort of similar direction, I think.
I saw when they announced the show, and they had the writers group, and it was pretty much, it looked like the story group KK had.
Exactly what I am.
But one of them, on her Twitter bio, it said "Smasher of the Patriarchy," and I was like, "That's not a." Yeah. But season 1 was really, really good. I watched it twice, and they did a good job. But I'm worried about season 2.
I'll do some nude Lego build videos.
A lot of people were about season 2, Steve.
Even
Henry Cavill in interviews has tiptoed around saying it as well.
Yeah, that was the one thing that sort of got me. I watched one of Gary's videos, Gary Nerdrotics videos on it, and he was talking about that, and I was like, no, I was really enjoying that. For me, for me right now, the Karate Kid is the pinnacle. It really is. It's so good. Oh, sorry, Cobra Kai. It's so good. But I just don't know. I might watch it and I might just sit there and criticize it. Again, I'm now to the point where I can separate the two, the EU and Legends and the Disney crap. And today, Star Wars actually truly died for me, and it was painful.
Amazon are doing, the Wheel of Time series, which is like a Game of Thrones-ish fantasy series. I've read the whole damn series, of novels. It's fantastic, but the lead writer said he wanted this world to look like what he imagined New York to look like in 40 years in terms of diversity. And lo and behold, they've race-swapped 60 or 70% of the main cast.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a train incoming big time. And that's a shame because that series is fantastic. It's I'd give it a 10 out of 10. But TV show, it's dead in the water on arrival.
Can I just ask if anyone knows on the panel or even in the chat, are they dropping Cobra Kai the whole season at once?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate how they do that.
I don't think Netflix does week by week, do they? At all?
Nope. It's all.
They honestly, with this, they honestly should be. I want time between the episodes too. Like, as much as I loved binge watching, I binge watched the first 2 seasons of that in 2 nights. Like, literally 2 nights. I binge watched the whole thing from beginning to end, the first 2 seasons. And, like, it was awesome because after every episode, I just wanted to watch the next episode and it was right there. But I do like the idea of on these new episodes or seasons coming out, they drop them gradually. Let us breathe.
Would you agree if I said Cobra Kai did everything right that the Star Wars sequel trilogy failed at doing?
Rhino said that multiple times as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. I fucking believe it.
So they do drop some. Anyway, we'll see. I'm definitely watching, definitely doing that, definitely reviewing it, definitely. That thing's awesome. All right, let's move on from this garbage. I'm over this. Any last words? Rest in peace, Star Wars.
Star Wars is saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars
saved, dude.
Star Wars is saved. My question to Mr. Iger would be like, if I was an investor in Disney, having 10 shows surrounding the same IP, how do you anticipate that getting you more subscribers? Like, if The Mandalorian is the success that they say it is, and, they've gotten the subscribers that they've wanted, they're above their goals or their targets for subscribers, why does spending money on, like, 10 or 9 other shows... It's a complete waste of money and a zero return on your investment. If I'm already subscribing because I like The Mandalorian, and I don't, but if I did, none of these other shows are causing me to, like, I'm not going to subscribe again. Like, I'm going to subscribe twice now because you have 2 Star Wars shows. So It seems to me like if these things are going to have budgets on par with what The Mandalorian is spending, what a waste of money.
Yeah.
Like, you can do more than 1 Star Wars show. I'm not saying you can't. Like, do an animated one, like maybe 2 live action ones going on at the same time, but like, don't flood the market with these things.
It's oversaturation.
Your return on investment is like nil because you already have the subscribers. Mm-hmm. They're already subscribing to you because of Mandalorian. Giving them Ahsoka isn't going to, like, cause them to spend more money on subscribing. Mm-hmm. So what they should be doing is spreading these things out instead of just like spamming all these titles out there hoping maybe one sticks. Just do 2 good shows, please. Just with an actual season, not 8 half episodes or 60% episodes. Like this last one was 40 minutes. The one before 30 minutes. Like. Mm-hmm.
No, this one was 38 minutes, including the
fill an hour. You can't even fill an hour of programming for 8 episodes, and you're going to put out 10 shows. Oh, I'm a little skeptical that you're going to pull that off, Disney. See, if I'm an investor, I look at this and I go like, how is this increasing your subscriber base?
How is this increasing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see Indiana Jones, sure. Willow, maybe. Like, it could be a different audience. Mm-hmm. And certainly the Marvel thing. Getting the Marvel people in, because they haven't really put any Marvel content out on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. If I'm an investor, I'm like, yes, go for those. But, like, these, how is it going to give the company more money? It just seems like you're spending money. It's just a waste.
See, that's also too. This point here is the other reason why they're releasing so many things, because then it keeps the subscribers Because then okay, let's say at the end of this they had something like the Obi-Wan series ready. Bang, they bring out that. Then straight after that, I mean, I reckon the Bad Batch would be pretty close to being.
They tried to do that with Clone Wars, quote unquote, season 7.
Yeah, correct.
Right, but the thing is that's not most subscribers' habits though. Is to discontinue and then re-up and like constantly turn it off and turn it back on. I would hazard to guess the majority of Disney Plus subscribers, because it's only $7 a month, just keep it on, because they can park their kid in front of the TV, play a bunch of other different cartoons, and shut them up and keep them out of their way for a while. So again, like adding these other shows is not necessarily going to retain them. I think for $7, like if it was $25 a month, sure. I could see people definitely like, all right, I'm going to binge watch The Mandalorian and then I'm going to turn it off. But at $7 a month, I think people just keep it on.
Yeah, and two other thoughts here. So this Vision show, even though it's animated, it's going to be very much in the vein of Star Trek Quick Trips. What's it called, Greg? Short Treks, whatever the hell.
Treks.
It's going to be very much in that vein. It's going to be a weird animated show. And second, if you think The Mandalorian is a video game, wait for Rogue Squadron.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're all going to be video game plotline, like plot.
That's all I know how to
threads.
fucking do. That's all I know.
I mean, I'm so scared for this Obi-Wan thing. I'm so scared.
Well, and like,
I feel like it's going to break people's hearts if they screw it up. Again, we don't know what story they've got in mind, but
I don't think they know what story they have in mind.
No, they
what
don't.
Kathleen Kennedy said about the rematch. Like, now, again, that could be a slip of words. She doesn't know what she's talking about because she's clearly not a Star Wars fan, because if she did, she knew that would be the worst phrasing to use. But
it would also be a spoiler.
Yes, it would be a spoiler.
Kidding.
But it just brings me to Episode 4 when Vader says, "I feel a presence I haven't felt since," that moment. They better not. They just better not cross paths. They just
Deborah
better
Chow
not.
said it too when she was interviewed by Games Radar. What she said exactly? She said, "We will definitely see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader get into it again."
Fantastic. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Well, of course they're going to do that, because I mean that was their gimmick for Rogue One, right? That's, if you look at Rogue One, people talk about three things, and one of them is extremely negative. So the extremely negative is the woke droid, right? The two positives are the other droid, K2SO or whatever, and the Vader scene at the end. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, the movie is very forgettable, and
I showed that in Rebels.
Isn't god awful terrible? No, but like I guess of the Disney Star Wars era, that's probably the best thing they've put out. But
yeah, 100%.
I also talk about Felicity Jones' sweet ass.
I just want to
remember, like in Fallen Order, they had to rely on Vader at the end too as a gimmick. Spoiler.
Oh, they had
to.
Yeah.
I just want to give Disney Lucasfilm some advice, and Kathleen Kennedy and all of these guys, these dickheads that are writing all this garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. That's all I have to say.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, the Kenobi show, though, and having Vader in it, what's the point? Episode 9 made Anakin not the chosen one.
That's what it's
so
about.
whatever they do is completely pointless.
I put out a tweet today. I said, without respect, we accept. And I said, hashtag not me, hashtag fuck off Disney. Let me give you that properly. Hashtag not me, hashtag fuck off Disney!
Feels like Star Wars.
Basically, what I meant by that is that we're accepting what we've been given. These people haven't apologized for anything. The person who did all the garbage is still running the show. And we're not sort of not allowed to criticize it in a way. I'm giving it hell. I'm done hiding behind. It's okay. It's garbage writing. It's flashy lights. Like I said, it looks fantastic. And like I said, if what we got was good, there'd be plenty of things on this list that I'd be keen on seeing. Plenty.
Rhino, it's very simple. Just you gotta understand this. Believe it. Like, focus on this for the rest of the night and going forward. Right? Star Wars is not made for you anymore.
It's so weird looking at that thing on the screen and taking advice from you.
I know. He's pointing his fucking arrow at me. I don't know what he's doing.
Does anyone else find the advice more
At least I got my
valuable?
helmet
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're not the target audience. They have their target audience that they wanted. They've got
That's
it.
right.
They're gonna let it. Bye.
Enjoy, guys. Enjoy seeing
See ya.
Vader come across Obi-Wan and them having a thing, and they just say, well, he didn't feel his presence since that moment. It wasn't the moment on Mustafar that he hasn't stopped feeling his presence since then. It's this moment. Cool. Let's just
too.
retroactively change the law. Let's just retroactively change the story and cuck more original characters. Have fun.
Bisexual pixie.
I will say this real quick too. I was in the same boat Rhino with today. I was like really upset about everything, and then I realized that this is Disney Star Wars. We still have our good Star Wars we can go back to. That I will never. They can never fucking soil for me. I still have the OT, the PT. We have the EU. We can go back on. We have the Clone Wars series if you like that. I don't have to. This is Disney Star Wars. It's completely its own thing. So.
Yes. Somebody did say that this week, and that person was actually Star Wars Theory, and he wants the SWCU.
I know that fucking video was so stupid.
The question that he asked
all these
about
shows,
how they're going to adapt the EU into canon. Oh man, blew my mind. That's why I put out that tweet saying, hold on a second, did I miss something? Didn't they scrap the fucking EU?
They did.
So that they could have creative freedom, but then they keep picking from it? But that's not creative freedom anymore. That's just pulling characters out and, again, changing their stories, which are going to piss off the people that like these characters and know these stories. Yes, Tom, I am going to fucking rage because it's fucking annoying as fuck. I've had enough. Today was the last straw. I realized that Star Wars is dead. This is Disney Star Wars. It's not real Star Wars. It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. It's got a Star Wars label over it, right? It would be like if I was to cut the surroundings of a can, right? Like a Coke can, and then I was to go buy some cans down at the bottle shop and go and wrap the can in Coke so that if I get pulled over, it looks like I'm drinking Coke instead of alcohol. That's what
you do
it
that
is.
too?
It's wrapping, sometimes.
But I was going to make this point 30 minutes ago when we were on this topic, but really quick, The Mandalorian and anything like it looks, smells, sounds, feels maybe like Star Wars, but then when you taste it, it isn't Star Wars. That's the distinction.
This tastes like shit.
Yeah, it's like, chocolate cake, and oh crap.
It's
full of
actually
horse shit, and it's in my mouth. And
Damn it, I just drink coffee, Steve.
Yeah, this chocolate cake looks great. Oh, wait, it's made out of poop.
Oh, some of it dripped on my crotch, and I'm not wearing pants or underwear. Oh, this is bad. I got Star Wars on my dick.
Shit crotch.
What was that apology? Did I
got shit
apologize?
crotch.
Did I say I'm sorry at the end?
Analogy.
Oh, whoa.
Just wait till
you should come by Star Trek streams.
Wait till they get these shows launched, and then they announce a crossover event. They're gonna do it just like fucking CW. They're gonna do it. They're gonna be like, okay, we got Mandalorian, we got Ahsoka, and we got the Rangers thing. We're gonna do a 3-series crossover event where you gotta watch the Mandalorian episode, then you gotta watch the Rangers episode, and then you gotta watch the Ahsoka episode to get like the full story, just like fucking CW.
Yeah, and nobody's gonna die.
That's what they're going for.
If they fight, it's going to end as a draw.
And if you've seen the CW crossovers, they're not really much to write home about.
Oh my god, I know. What was the last one they did?
I mean,
Was that crossover?
Crisis
they
on
did?
Infinite Earths.
Oh my god, the fact that they actually fucking called that Crisis made me laugh. But it was
You know
so
what's
fucking bad. Oh my
what
God,
I
so
noticed?
bad.
If you say KK 3 times, you will have said KKK twice.
That's right.
True.
And you're a
fucking
Yahtzee.
racist.
Factually accurate, yes.
Yeah, if you say it twice, then you'll be. Never mind. I won't even go there.
You're a racist pig.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this episode of Mando, shall we? Stig,
Yay.
it's up to you if you want to hang around. I appreciate it if you do and everything, but it's completely up to you.
I'm
I
going
know
to
you haven't
stick
watched
by
it.
you, but it depends on how many hours it's going to happen, though.
That's all right. Hopefully, well, we've just hit the hour mark. Hopefully, we can sort of, because it's 1:15 in the morning here. I'm actually really tired. I had a really busy week at work. All right, moving on. Let's not talk about any of that. Okay. Can you all see that okay?
Really quickly.
Sorry, on my screen it's really dark.
Oh, we can see it, yeah.
Okay, good.
That's
All right.
the cinematography of the entire show. Is everything's very darkly lit.
Make it darker.
Yeah, but
That's what
on
it
this
says. Make
screen
it
down
darker.
here for me, it's actually like quite clear. On this screen up here, though, it's really dark, and that's the one that's going through StreamYard, so I don't know why. But
It looks
anyway,
really good on my TV.
You're gonna start
All
here
right.
not with the Terminator ripoff entrance.
It looks like a Cylon.
It does look like. That's what I thought too. I was like, "What the fuck is the Cylon doing
yeah,
in Star Wars?"
the dum-dum-dum-dum and the foot.
Well, they deliberately go for that shot because they show like the bottom half of the droid to make it look like it's one of the T-800s.
Yep.
Okay, so does somebody want to explain what happens here? Sorry, I honestly, I watched this episode with my brain turned off.
Well, yeah. Basically, I watched
probably
it and
helps.
then I couldn't wait for Tusk and Bob's review because I wanted to make sure that everything I pointed out he did, and I think we were all but like two in sync of all
You
the
should just play Tusk and
fallacies.
If
Yeah.
I wasn't so pissed off in my review, I probably would have said this is probably one of my favorite episodes from this season. But
Wow.
but I'm only saying that because of Mayfield. I think he did a fantastic job.
Bill Burr was
Burr
great.
did a great job in his role. That's all I'm going
He
to
should have
like.
been the Mandalorian.
Whether or not the things that happened were good or what the fuck are you doing, you dumb character? I don't like the way he went about, especially that tenseness between those two. I thought that was good. That's just all I'm getting at. All right.
You have 5 seconds to comply.
So basically, here they
So what
spring
happened
him
here?
using like this illogical thing where just any marshal can go to this prison planet and say, "I need him." That's just
I
in
really
any universe that doesn't make sense.
Well, not to mention, like, they got rid of the... So, why did they have prison ships before when they had, like, basically penal slave colonies where they're, like, you know, they might as well be, you know, chipping away at rocks, right? Like, so the prison... That ship was, like, a permanent floating prison. It wasn't just to transport people. It was, like, this gigantic prison ship. Like, why isn't he there? Like, why do they have those and then also this?
Stiffer
they're
penalty,
just
maybe. I don't know.
Where they're working in some scrapyard or some weird thing. So, like, apparently, yeah, he got sent in. He got moved from the prison here now, and Cara Dune can just, like, as the marshal of bumfuck Egypt, like, she can come to this, you know, secure facility and just demand a high value prisoner be released to her custody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point there. Mayfield actually wasn't needed in this episode in the end. If you actually think about it.
No.
He was the driver.
He knew where to go. and knew what to
No,
do.
but he didn't even need to do that because he took his helmet off. He was just being seen. Like,
Well, they
I
didn't know where to
that-
go though to get the information from Moff Gideon. They didn't.
Anyway, we'll get around to a bit of that anyway. So basically, at the very beginning of the episode, they break Mayfield out of this scrapyard prison, and Cara Dune literally, like they've been saying, just walks in, unlocks the bracelet. The droid goes follow Marshall Dune or whatever. I don't even know. I can't even remember.
He said
like
Marshall
I said,
Dune.
I watched this with my brain turned off. I'm surprised I remembered that.
Dude,
so
holy shit.
Okay, I want to ask the question.
Dude painted
here.
his goddamn armor between episodes and cleaned it
What
up.
happened here? Like him piloting his ship to get to this place. I mean, how much time went by? We just lost Greg again. How much time went by between these two episodes? Because at the end of the last episode, the last time we see them, they're on, what's it called? Navarro, thank you. And obviously we end the episode with Moff Gideon, but has his armor ever been this clean and shiny?
Not that we've seen.
No. Not even in the...
sorry, that really stood out to me.
It did me too. I pointed out in my video too. It's like, what the fuck?
It's gone from this warm look. I understand like fixing it up a little bit, you know, because it was very worn down, maybe from the Sarlacc pit or something like that. But to look like this looks brand new. Is there even the hole in the helmet anymore? Oh yeah, the hole's still
the
there.
dent's still there. Yeah, it is.
I was going to say if they took that out, it's a bit. But yeah, again, there was just one thing that I'm like, whoa, Boba Fett looks like he's ready to go out and hit the night, you know. Anyway, he's looking fresh. So Mayfield gets shocked when he sees him because he thinks he's Mando. And then, of course, Mando walks out and basically says, you're coming with us. And he doesn't really want to, but of course he doesn't want to stay. So he decides to go with him. That's what I got out of that. Anything?
And here's something else I'm going to call out. Like, and you can disagree, but he should have been afraid because everyone knows Boba Fett. Yes, you can tell him apart with his armor and his ship. And this guy's an ex-Imperial officer. He would have known Boba Fett. He's galaxy-wide famous. Yet, it's just some random... Oh, no, it's the guy in the silver that's really dumb. What am I going to do? That was fucking stupid.
This is where I've now changed my thing on it. This is Disney canon. In Disney canon, Boba Fett's face isn't necessarily known across the galaxy.
I guess, yeah.
Right?
He's a myth, guys. He's a myth.
Again, if you like
just
that...
like the Jedi.
Luke Skywalker's not known, so...
Yeah, he's a myth,
that's
dude.
right. Vader is,
he definitely looked less dad bodish in this one. Also, why the fuck is he still wearing a skirt when he's got his fucking leg armor back on? It's under his leg armor. You see it later, but he's still got this skirt-looking thing on. It's weird. It's like, what
I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have any other clothes.
Yeah, that's right, Jade. What? Like Mara pointed it out. Like, why is he doing it? Why are you wearing the robe? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just really off. Like the colors and how bright it was, and like how it looked like he just went to the Boba Fett shop and got a brand new set of armor. But make sure you put the dent back in it. And then they did that too, just to give back a new one. But it's
how do you dent Beskar though?
Yeah.
That's a good question. But is
he
Boba
get from
Fett's
when he hit
armor
his
like
head on the
100%
fucking Slave One
Beskar,
in
or
Empire
like...
Strikes Back?
What'd you say?
Didn't he get that dent supposedly when he hit his head on the fucking Slave One in Empire Strikes Back? Didn't George Lucas say that?
Yeah, but that armor was made of Durasteel.
Yeah, I just looked at that. He looks like he's lost a bit of weight there between episodes.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Dad Bod Fett anymore.
Well, and that was a bad shot that was going around online. It was like from that angle that, made him look fatter. Because if you look at him head on in that last episode, he doesn't look like a large guy. So I think it was just that angle made his beer belly stick out. So
he still looked better than Timothy Oliphant with a fucking anorexia.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
I don't know.
I feel like the helmet doesn't look right. It looks like too short. Even when Oliphant and Morrison are wearing it, it doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't look like Boba Fett's helmet.
It doesn't.
But again, it's just I don't mind. I don't mind Boba Fett's armor. I've never have. It's fine. I understand what you're saying. Like when you look at Mando's helmet, it kind of hangs down a little bit lower. whereas his sort of crops up a bit more. But it covers his face, does the job.
Yeah. I'd like to see more of him in the series instead of fucking
So,
Din Djarin.
of course, Mayfield joins them, and we get the opening thing, Mandalorian, Chapter 15. What's it called again?
The Believer.
The Believer. Good morning, Nerd Cookies.
Hey, Nerd Cookies.
Thank you for coming by.
Hey, Elaine, how you doing?
Okay. So then they have a discussion about the fact that he wants to find Moff Gideon. Mayfield, says, I didn't sign up for this, take me back. And they say he's got the child, and all of a sudden, that's cool. Like, all right, I'll help you. I was a little bit like, okay, that was very quick to change his mind when, did he even really care about the kid? Like, he was picking it up, saying, like, almost wanting to take it. Like, I don't know.
Well, reasonably, you could have added 12 minutes to this episode of footage that could have gone a little bit more into finding a way to convince him to do it other than just, okay, I'll go.
My baby. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry.
Again, I feel like the best part of this episode was Mayfield.
Yeah.
And it was actually more about some of the dialogue than it was about the any of the visuals. Because for me, the visuals is like that's very easy for them to do because like I said, it looks great. You see Boba Fett's ship taking off. I've got an image ready for that once we get to that. But it looks fantastic. It does.
Yeah.
About as good as it gets. All right, so they have this discussion. They finally sort of convince Mayfield to help them out. And he says to them, though, that they need to go to... Does anybody here know the name of the planet?
Plot device.
I forgot.
I can't remember. Fuck, I hope that Greg didn't come back and he's been sitting in the back room because he's not there anymore.
No, he wouldn't have just sat there. He would have typed in private chat.
Yeah, true. Sorry, I just got distracted because then I just noticed again that we're down to 4. Okay, so they go to this planet. There's a refinery there that they'll be able to get the position of Moff Gideon's ship through the Imperial computer. So they decide to go there, and they go. Awesome. These are the transports down here. What are they carrying? Anyone know?
It's.
I can't remember the name.
I think it's some new material. I don't think it's.
Is it a fuel?
From legacy material.
They were in these canisters. I don't know.
Greg's probably not coming back, by the way. There's an outage, looks like, for him.
Oh,
Damn.
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know how that is.
He sent a picture on Twitter in the group.
It's some kind of explosive component, right?
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. I just called it some volatile chemical. Oh, rhydonium is what...
Rhinonium.
Rhinonium.
Mm-hmm.
Rhinonium.
Rhinonium. That'll do.
Raging
Thank you,
Rhinonium.
Yeah, I think it's an applicable name, so...
Rhinonium.
Given its properties.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Was it in the
It'll
Clone Wars
blow.
Invader? No, it's a chemical name, so I don't remember what the fuck it was.
Rhydonium.
Not a huge TCW fan, so that's probably why. I don't remember.
I am, and I can't remember.
I know.
It.
I can't remember.
Okay, so they obviously show up. Sorry, I just need to... I better
careful.
not... Because they're all there. I just move that out a little
Yeah.
bit more. Okay, one thing that I do want to say is that the acting performances so far from what I've seen have been fine. They've been good. Like, I haven't really seen... other than decisions or things that people have, like these characters have done, it's based on the script, it's based on the direction that they're given, and I think they do a good job of it. I think Gina Carano's doing a good job. Agent May from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing a good job. Boba Fett's pretty good. I like what he says about they'll recognize my face. And Bill Burr was great.
Yeah, they were all serviceable at least.
They're just doing they're doing with what they've got, and for what,
Yeah.
they're doing. They're doing good for what they've been given. So
it's fuel, basically.
yeah,
Cool.
they're
Yeah, they are
Disney
obsessed with
Star
fuel.
Wars.
Coaxium.
Oh yeah,
Everything
Greg's right.
around
All they
fuel.
do is fucking make fuel.
All right, so they're basically coming up with a plan, and I've gone too far. Okay, they come up with a plan, and the Bill Burr character is obviously Mayfield. He is obviously an ex-Imperial, and this factory is run by or monitored by the the FSB. Is that right?
ISB,
ISB.
Imperial Security Bureau.
Yeah, that's it. ISB. God, I'm really off tonight, aren't I?
Understandable.
It's also late.
It's late. It's 1:30 in the morning, but yeah, it's been a very up and down day for me with all the shit. Okay, so Cara Dune can't go. May can't go. Boba Fett can't go. So the only two that can go, Bill Burr. I keep saying Bill Burr. Mayfield keeps saying, like, I'll just go alone, and they don't trust him. They think that as soon as he gets behind enemy lines there, he's just going to throw them under the bus. So Mando decides to go with them because he sees that they're wearing Imperial, like the Stormtrooper helmets. And basically he decides to change his outfit. This is the Mandalorian here. His Beskar armor is in this sack. They basically jump down. They get onto this transport. They get inside. Oh, Cara Dune actually gets inside, and she beats the shit out of more people with helmets on.
Helmets are
That's
just for
driving me
looks.
nuts, by the way. That's
for
driving
me
me nuts.
For me, it's. I don't know. Is there any explanation for how me punching you in the helmet doesn't hurt me, but does hurt you?
I'm gonna play.
Why isn't her hand broken?
I'm gonna play Pablo Hidalgo for a minute here. Whenever he releases the Mandalorian Visual Dictionary, because you know he will, he's gonna say, and he does this all the time. Those gloves she's wearing have like this hardening property to them whenever they make contact, and we have that kind of shit in real life. You know, kind of like Batman shit.
That's exactly
That's what
You're
he'll
right.
do.
That's
what
he does
he'll
all
do.
the time.
Yeah.
Well, Dave Filoni did this on Rebels as well.
Yeah.
He had, I think it was Hera or something, knocked out a stormtrooper who was wearing a helmet by hitting it in the back of the head with a tray, like a little tin tray or whatever it was. Knocked him out.
Yeah. But we're writing it for them, but we're really just saying what we know will probably happen, because these visual dictionaries, all they do, they're an attempt to make sense of all the stuff that doesn't make sense in the movies, like in the Disney trilogy. That's all those books did.
Now, can I just ask? Obviously, Cara Dune doesn't give a fuck about stormtroopers. She clearly just, because throughout this episode, she's sniping, she's killing them. Why wouldn't she just jump in there and blast these two guys? Why is there the punching combat stuff going in?
Well, again, this show,
and again, not really giving me the sense of like that's, I don't know. It's not possible.
this show has an obsession with like hand-to-hand combat when an easier method is readily available. They've done it almost in every episode. And, if they found a way to explain it, okay, that's fine. But they don't. It's just because I want to engage in hand-to-hand combat or melee combat, I will. And I don't know if it's because they don't want to show brutality, but look at the fight on top of the Juggernaut later in this very episode. There was brutality there, so I would just shoot him. Or stun him, or something.
Yeah. Yes, he is the worst lawmaster. We're all in agreement on that one. So yes, this is the Mandalorian. He obviously changes behind the thing here, and nobody sees his face at this point in time. He gets into the transport with Bill Burr, Mayfield, and I will say the dialogue between Mayfield and Cara Dune when he's getting in, I didn't mind that. Again, it was another thing where if I was actually not feeling like shit about Star Wars, I probably would have actually gone, yeah, that was pretty funny. You know what I mean? But
I noted that too, that it was
no emotions.
at least partially engaging dialogue. Yeah.
Good morning, Jedi Loki.
Hey, what's up, Jedi Loki?
Thank you for coming by. So yeah, that dialogue wasn't too bad. And then there is, of course, the dialogue between these two in the...
Well, it was one-sided mostly. But...
It was very one-sided.
And the removal of the helmet so we can tell them apart.
Correct. I completely agree with that. But again, they could have been talking and they could have done it with the helmets on.
Yep.
But...
This is. I think they left it in and made him do it so they could get another shot at Pedro. Like, look, he has to take off his helmet, you piece of shit. Shut up and fucking read your lines, bitch.
His helmet in this episode, so let's not jump the gun here.
I know. I'm just saying it's funny though. It's funny.
Mayfield, I feel like another good bit of dialogue between the Mandalorian and him, and how he's trying to explain how they're not so different, but also he kind of. Says to him, I did like this line. He goes, is it that you can't take off the helmet or that you can't show your face? Because there is a difference.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And he doesn't say anything and he goes, just saying. Again, that one bit of dialogue, I didn't mind. Like, it was good. It fit. It was, I don't know. There was a few moments in this which I did like. But again, it's all surface stuff for me now. It's all surface stuff because I know behind it all, if I was to sit there and break this down, find whatever nitpicks, the way that I usually view Star Wars, if I was to do that with this, it falls apart, massively falls apart. Anyone want to say anything about this moment, this scene, what I've just been talking about?
I think it was good delivery by Burr.
Yeah, I like the part where he's talking about how it doesn't matter who the fuck you are, the Empire or the New Republic. Either you're ruling or being ruled. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Kind of how he's just pointing out how it's just yeah. I mean, it's been done before, much better in other shows and other movies. But I like the dialogue, so I like that. I did really enjoy the scene as well too. Yeah. I really wish he'd been in the show a lot more. I wish he'd replaced Pedro Pascal.
Oh man, again, the acting performances I feel like have been really quite good. But Bill Burr in this episode, he shined. And again, it just brings me back to every episode this season, Mando's been overshadowed by another character, by the insert character. He's been overshadowed by Bo-Katan. He's been overshadowed by the guy wearing Boba Fett's armor in episode 1. He was overshadowed by the only episode where he's actually been the highlight is episode 2, and for me that's the worst. And weakest episode.
I mean, it wasn't Trapper Wolf
in the entire series, right? Not just this season. That second episode of this season has been the worst episode from the entire series.
He's the worst character in the show, dude. He's the worst character in the fucking show. And
again, he was overshadowed by Mayfield in this episode.
That's
yes,
he
had his action moments, but he was all being protected by, we'll get to it. Actually, no, let me say it now. The bit where he shoots the guy that he's talking to, this is Mayfield, and then he shoots all the other soldiers while Mando's getting up on the thing. He's killing all the stormtroopers.
He's doing all the work.
While Mando's just getting up on the shelf so they can kick out the wall.
Get up there, you cuck bitch.
Or the window.
Yeah.
Anyway, just again another thing for me where every episode this season, and it makes me think. Yes, you're probably right. This is only going to go 3 seasons. Mando, let's hope.
Really quickly, I will bring up the fact that Lord Vader did say in the chat that Giancarlo Esposito did say this was mentioned in the 4th season interview like a few months ago. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see what happens.
Steve, he's related to Darth Vader, though.
Steve, you haven't said anything really for a little while. I'm just curious, based on everything that we've talked about so far in this episode, is there anything that you want to add or say?
Yeah. I've been reading the Black Fleet Crisis, and I'm happy.
Thank you.
What are you laughing at?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Okay, so we're moving on. I'm delusional now. It's you know.
Jonathan, I think that's wrong, but it's close.
So they're in these transports. There are multiple of these transports. There's, I think these guys were transport number 5. There was transport 4 and 3 in front of them. Transport 4 was blown up, as you can see here. Now the report comes through to just drive straight through, and you should be. Yeah, hopefully you'll be okay. And
he's like, fuck
again,
that.
Mayfield's reaction to that. Again, good performance. Well done.
Yep.
I guess they couldn't scramble the ties immediately, or have them ready, knowing that these pirates, attack on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I got the sense.
Yeah, I'm now at a point with this where I'll give it credit where credit's due. It doesn't get a lot of credit. The performance by Bill Burr was fantastic. I give it credit there. The visuals are fantastic. I'll give it credit there. That's it. These pirates. Let's talk about these goddamn pirates for a second. So they blow up 2 of the. Sorry, Steve. Did you want to say something?
Okay, Jonathan.
No, I was just looking at the picture and went,
Oh.
What is this? Is this a species we already know?
No, it looks like a Star Trek alien.
That's what I thought when I saw this. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, this looks like Star Trek or something like Babylon 5. It doesn't look like Star Wars.
They look like
they look like a Reaver
Star
or
Wars
something from
Star Trek
Firefly.
appropriation.
Not wrong, Blake. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I am rattled tonight. I've been rattled all day, to be honest with you. And some people out there might say it's pathetic, but it's honestly one of those things that Star Wars is my favorite thing when it comes to entertainment out of everything. Yes, I do like Karate Kid. It's probably my second favorite out of all of them. But, it's Star Wars. And for me today, it was official that Star Wars, for me, is dead. It's completely done. It's over. EU, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yay.
And this is where, just in regards to the reviews, I will be finishing this season. I'll review next one. And I promise I'll give a better review than I did with my 3-minute review tonight. For the final season, for the final episode, sorry. And then I'm going to assess what I'm going to do. Because, again, I don't want to just be sort of come across as one of those clickbaity, here's my hated opinion of the things that you guys are enjoying. If you want this crappy version of Star Wars, enjoy it all you like. I'm out.
It's not clickbaity. You can get your thoughts out on anything you want. Like do whatever you want. You don't have to
Yeah,
do what
no,
everybody else wants.
But see, it's like
want.
I'll talk about Cobra Kai and I'll have a smile on my face. I'll be loving it. I'll be talking about these characters and what's going on and what's happening, and I'm enjoying it. That's how I want to be about Star Wars.
I can't wait. Yeah,
That's how I want to be about Star Wars. But it's from all the announcements that we got today and how I feel about that with, Kathleen Kennedy still at the helm. And like I said, with the whole thing with Bob Iger, the female-centric bullshit, and the fact that if this is the best that we're getting, you're going to get 10 series of this shitty writing, these shitty moments. Enjoy. I'm out.
Lethal's right,
out.
though. He doesn't like Cyberpunk, and you're welcome to say how you feel. Do what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't do it off of what other people might think about it. Do it the way you want to do.
It's not about, like, I know that I'm probably not going to enjoy a lot of these things that Disney Lucasfilm's going to come out with. But I don't want to I just don't want to put myself through it. That's where I'm at now. I'm so far past it's close enough that no, I'm done. I'm done. All right, so let's talk about these fucking pirates. First of all, they're not really pirates because they're just wanting to blow these things up. Now, why
Do they
are they
have
wanting
dicks on their faces?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why do they want to blow them up and not steal them if they're pirates? Wouldn't you think that they are pirates?
No background.
Oh shit, right, Blake? Yeah.
Okay, so there's no background. So they just want to blow them up. I'm assuming because they want the Imperials off their planet,
Most likely.
maybe. And this fuel is what's keeping them there.
Maybe it's a religious thing. That would explain this
stay.
rushing of the base.
Maybe.
But yeah, we'll I don't understand 100% their motivation. I can sort of self-insert that myself, but then again, I'm writing it for them, and that's where the writing again falls down.
They're just pirates. They probably just want to,
They throw many ships at Mando. They've got to speed up, and then the fuel starts to.
God, what are they doing to Mando in the background?
They're really hot, so he has to slow down.
Ground and pound.
Pedro probably like that.
He gets pinned down. He puts the charger on the fuel, and Mando gets out of it and gets that thermal detonator and throws it back at before it explodes. Throws it back, and they all blow up.
I love how he's just casually holding it right there.
But I want to say something before, because we passed it up. It was before Mandalorian got out of the vehicle. When they first get on the fucking vehicle, he gets out of the window and shoots at them towards the back of the vehicle with the fucking explosive shit in there. And even
Mayfield does.
Even Mayfield points it out. It's like, you're making him the stupidest fucking character in the history of Star Wars. Yeah. Every week it just gets worse and worse and worse. It's like,
and look, do you see something in the background there? Open hatch. And he left the window open too, but it must have automatically closed or something. But he has a thing with not closing doors and windows.
I guess they couldn't just go. I guess those guys that are beating him up just won't go into the hatch. It's just like, I guess,
or throw a thermal detonator in there.
Exactly. Yeah. But dude, don't shoot at the fucking volatile chemicals, you fucking idiot. God, I'm like, why would you even show him doing that? It's hilarious too. Mayfield's like, what are you fucking doing? What are you shooting guns towards there for?
The thing is with this book is the fact that I really want to like Star Wars. Like it's so ingrained in me. It's in my heart that I want good Star Wars. And again, today, whatever hope I actually had left is gone. Shit.
Mandalorian for helmets because they never shut doors and windows.
You have a pile of EU books to enjoy, so
huge.
Again, I actually said to Stig earlier tonight. I said to him, I finished Shadowhunter last night, and then when I woke up this morning and went to work, I started listening to it again from the very beginning. It was so good that I wanted to go through it again, so that if there was anything that I sort of missed, I could
will you be doing a review of it on your channel?
Oh, for sure. I've decided now that I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to be doing yet, but I have 100% decided that I'm going to be reviewing EU books.
Are you still going to do Lego builds every now and then?
Yeah, but at the moment, affordability is a big thing for Lego.
Do
they have Cobra Kai Legos?
No, I don't think so. They don't have many ships or anything.
That would be awesome. Well, they could do the 50s cars. And
Sweep the Lego.
Yeah, there you go. Man, you're good at that, Steve.
I need to get some drums and cymbal.
And you know what else? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not a native English speaker, right?
Good lord.
No.
Then you're even better. You're that much better.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just I'm just wired that way.
Okay, let's move on. Sorry, I was just reading the chat. I got a little distracted. It's late. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. All right. So this scene here for me was just like.
Look, they all look like they're doing like walk like in Egypt.
Okay, all right. You know what? I don't care about the claim. I'm going to turn the volume right down.
You know what it looks like? It kind of looks like one of those side scroller beat 'em up games.
It does. That's exactly what it looks like, Steve. Oh my god, that's right. Holy shit, that's exactly what it looks like. Oh my god.
Double Dragon.
Yeah, it was. Pirate dragons.
Okay, so after he blows them up, like thermal detonator, thermal detonator. We got thermal detonators. thermal detonator. Like, man, they've all got these thermal detonators. So let's get them ready. But they only fight with sticks. They don't have blasters. They got thermal detonators and repulsor lifts. Is that what they're called? So, of course, Mayfield has to slow down again, or something happens where they catch up to him, and he takes all of them out. Again, I watched this with my brain turned off. What happens? How does he defeat them?
By fighting them, by stealing their sticks, and then
that's right. And then the TIE fighters show up. Yep. So as he's coming in, the TIE fighters show up, and we get this scene, which was another moment which I nearly pissed myself laughing.
Oh my god! I know. Like, why are you running towards them?
Pirates with sticks are running towards. Oh, we don't want sound.
And Pablo Hidalgo's reference book will tell us there's some kind of religious zealots, and that's why they rushed it.
Really quickly, I will say right now, the Shore Troopers making an appearance in this episode made me happy because it's one of my favorite Stormtrooper designs of all fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love them so much.
I just don't understand this.
But yeah, why are you doing that?
Like, I would think at this point, the ships, the cargo's made it to its destination. These pirates have failed to blow this last cruiser or whatever up. Let's retreat. But no, let's just all run at them with sticks until we, like, they don't even get close.
Mm-hmm. And look at this guy in the middle, cocking his hand back to throw a thermal detonator. It's like, okay, number one, has he activated it yet? If so, it should have blown up. If he hasn't, and he throws it right then they'd have time to throw it back at him. So it made no sense.
Yep.
So yeah, for me, these pirate things were just a thing to have an action scene with them getting to their destination. Because I didn't really understand the motivations of the pirates, but also they really wrote these pirates pretty fucking dumb. Like, wouldn't they want to maybe take the field themselves if they were pirates? Okay, but again, like writing it for them, I can
insurgents.
Writing it for them, I can say, okay, the reason why these locals did that is because they want to get these Imperials off their planet, and the best way to do that is to give them.
Well, he said it when they went through that little town too. He's like, they don't like them being here or whatever.
The Republic, the Empire.
Yeah, it don't matter.
We're just trespassing or something.
It's because Jonathan Redmond, the plot needed the Stormtroopers to hit this time. That's why they hit them.
Anyone want to elaborate on these pirates or anything? Tim, you got anything?
Well, like I said, they'll try to explain it in some of the books what they are and all that.
They were religious zealots who
when you have a 30
off their planet.
Yeah, you have, I think it was less than 34 minutes of live action footage, not including the 10-minute recap and the credits. You could have added a little something more, like, hey, these natives are religious zealots and they're fanatics and something like that, but there was just nothing. It was just
it's because they wanted to make sure the episode was under 40 minutes. They couldn't write any more dialogue, Tim. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Oh, the other reason why I'm thinking about not reviewing any more Disney Star Wars stuff is because I don't want to be called a hater. I don't want to be told on Twitter that I need to go and see. No, it wasn't even that. Today it was that I need to go and see a fucking therapist, you fucking retarded fucking something or other.
What?
Yeah. I like, I'm sorry, if my opinion offends somebody that much to say that I'm a retarded person that needs to go see a therapist, well, I don't need that shit. Like, I know it's just some dickhead on Twitter and that... I've got a thick skin. I've worked in car sales, I've worked in sales. I've got a very fucking thick skin. I don't give a fuck what these people say. I'll laugh in their faces. I don't fucking care. But in the same token, I'm looking at Disney Star Wars as Star Wars with the Star Wars lore, with the writing that should be going along with Star Wars. I give my criticisms for it. I get told that I'm a retarded piece of shit that needs to go see a therapist. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. See you later. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore with Star Wars, and that's why I'm almost to the point where I didn't even want to watch this episode. You guys know I didn't watch this episode for an hour after it released, and you guys were going, you may as well just watch it, at least finish out the season.
I saw someone claim today that, imply that none of us has gotten attacked for this. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I could show receipts. I can show receipts.
I know.
Oh yeah.
One last thought on this scene.
And I'm not going to show them because I'm not going to put any names out there, and I don't want to. I'm not like that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Tim.
No, just we mentioned this earlier, but it's a good thing they scrambled the ties so the main characters could be saved. If this seemed like it was a normal event for the transport of this material, so why wouldn't they have like ties escorting the juggernauts? Because they can fly slow.
Yep.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It's like right when they needed to, they showed up and yay! Look, it's ties.
Because
remember
they want to have
ties?
an action sequence before the TIE fighters come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to also point out that I've never said to somebody that likes this that they're retarded and need to go and see a therapist.
No.
None of us have
I've always said that if you like it, that's cool. You can like it. I think that it's not Star Wars and you're giving it passes on things that aren't Star Wars. And that's my opinion, right? And I'm allowed to have that opinion. But I've never said that somebody's a fucking retarded piece of shit that needs to go see a therapist, or that they're gatekeeping, or that any of that shit. And again, I see people like Stig, I see people like OG Star Wars getting attacked for their opinions based on, and I'm going to use Ryan Kennel's phrasing here, based on their experiences with Star Wars. I look at somebody like OG, I look at somebody like Stig, they know the lore very well, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're smarter than the next person about Star Wars or anything, but I do view them as smarter than me about Star Wars, and there's nothing wrong with me thinking that they're smarter than maybe some other people because they haven't read as much, they don't necessarily know as much, they don't know necessarily as much lore. I'm constantly sending messages to Lethal Lightning, to Ryan Kennel, to Stig, saying, oh, was this an EU thing? Or was this available in the EU? Or is, this law? I'm constantly asking questions, right? But I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent and I kind of lost my train of thought. Basically, I've never said to anyone that they can't like this. I personally don't know how somebody can like it, but if you do, that's cool. Enjoy this watered down version of Star Wars. My opinion.
Well, usually what happens though is Alora will post something, right? So some EU stuff, and people will start getting, yeah, but it doesn't fit, or blah blah blah, and or whatever, and she explains how it fits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't believe her, and then she gives them, links or screenshots or something, right? And then they just start getting more and more snide because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. And this happens, I don't know, 10, 15 times per week.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on for 4 or 5 hours. They just don't stop. And sometimes I'll chime in, and based on, how stupid their arguments are, right? If they're so far out there, it's not even funny. I'll call them a retard because that's the level. But I've never called anyone a retard for liking the Mandalorian,
Correct.
or not even for liking Rebels. I'll say Rebels itself is retarded because it is. But
I will say that comment that I got about being a retarded person that needs to go see a thing is based on the tweet that I put out today about the Star Wars announcements, not about the Mandalorian. Sorry, I will just correct myself there.
So you need,
but even still, for my now opinion of what I think about Star Wars, right, the fact that Kathleen Kennedy being at the helm, we're getting female-centric bullshit, the writing's horrible, some of the direction in some of these things, like for example with all those thermal detonators, that scene for me was so cringe. Again, I could have laughed out loud if I was in a better mood. And just in regards to this comment, well, my opinion is the right opinion. Well, yes, your opinion is right to you. Everybody's opinion is right to them, isn't it? Because it's their opinion. And sometimes no matter what anyone says or does, you're not going to change that opinion. And that's why I'm now sitting here going, I'm out, because people have this opinion that this is good and this is what they want. And guess what? Kathleen Kennedy's keeping her job because of it. And you're getting 10 series of this writing, this lore, this Star Wars. It's not my Star Wars.
So, if I understand this correctly, you said you don't want to watch this, basically, the new Star Wars. And for that, you need to go to therapy? For not wanting to watch something?
Yeah.
That's out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of being attacked, I just checked my Facebook page that I post my videos on, and I'm being attacked by some people saying that you can't steal what you own in regards to all this EU appropriation, so I'll be handling these fuckers later.
Well, legally, you're not stealing. But,
exactly.
You're still taking someone else's work.
Yeah, we could go down a rabbit hole in this, but
here, bring it, and then there's my money's in change. That's awesome. Sorry, I'm just having a good laugh at the chat. So yes, this to me was laughable. The fact that these guys are just running into blaster bolts, cool. Anyone got any last words on this bit? No? Cool. Moving on. They get in and everybody's applauding them like at the end of A New Hope. When they get out, when they've blown up the Death Star, and they're all sort of, yay, cheering. Like, I thought this was supposed to be the Empire. I wouldn't really expect stormtroopers to be hanging around a carrier and cheering and all of that sort of thing. But again, another little nitpick. It doesn't really, again, affect the story or anything. It was just a bit like, okay, they're all clapping and cheering, and I just kind of wouldn't have expected that from Imperials.
And here we are again. Number one, why not put your helmet back on? You could have averted some things. Number two, does nobody in this hangar, not one person, say, wait, I know who was operating that juggernaut, and it's not that guy? Like, nobody.
Yeah,
someone had to know who was driving.
As soon as he got out, dude, I'm like, put your helmet on. Put your helmet on.
I saw you saying that, yeah.
Put your helmet on. Put your fucking helmet on, you fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm. God. And again, it's so we can tell them apart. I know that's one of the main reasons they did it. And so they could come up with this contrived terminal access point that we'll get to that.
All right, keep talking about this, and you can move forward. I need to run to the bathroom.
Okay.
I will be right back.
Yeah, but I just again, I was like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?"
And even driving through the village and wherever else, it's like, oh, these guys usually don't have their helmets. I mean, it was just really weird. And again, it was.
They know who these people are. It's not like these stormtroopers know each other. When they go in the mess hall, they take their fucking helmets off to eat. Mm-hmm. They're like, wait a minute, I've never seen this guy. What's he doing here?
Let me write it for him again. Why not do this? Why not have the driver be one of those like army officers that has the open helmet, and then like have a stormtrooper guard with them as like security? That way you could have had one guy with the helmet that needed to have it and the other one not. I don't know. I'm just again writing it for them. They just don't think a lot, and you really have to turn your brain off and allow yourself to be wowed by the action and explosions and all that to ignore the obvious fallacies that they have in these episodes.
Yep. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a really... I just don't understand what they were thinking. But you're right. It's just to show who's who. Does it fucking matter? When you're talking, make one helmet move. When the other one's talking, make the other helmet move. Jesus.
Right. We're too dumb to understand.
Jonathan Redmond says, what if military base has important computer terminals in the fucking kitchen?
Yeah.
Well, it's, stormtroopers are soldiers. Don't they have rules about keeping your helmet on?
I was gonna say that, yeah, because
we had that when I was in the army.
It's so funny. I was actually about to say, isn't every other stormtrooper in this room wearing their helmet?
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Like he's the only one in that room that's not wearing his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Can I point out that these are like little nitpicks? Like the helmet thing is a nitpick. It is.
Yeah, it's
there is a little bit of validation to it. Is that the right word? The argument's valid. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. He maybe should have put the helmet back on.
It's not even lore. It's just it's
plot convenience.
Yeah, contrivance.
Yes.
And it is so that we can know the difference between who's the Mando and who is Mayfield. Any tracking fobs this week? Nope. They're dropping that completely. They're not going to explain that, and they're just hoping that it will fade into the past. And with me going, and I'm sure a lot of other people going, that it will get dropped. Nobody's asking.
You know what it stands for? Leave that up there. Full of bullshit.
Yep. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, let's move forward. So basically, they're like, okay, we need to find a computer terminal. Or Mayfield's saying this. We need to find a terminal. Mayfield walks into the mess hall. Is it the captain's mess hall? What does he call it? It's something. It's the mess hall. And he sees this guy here. Does anybody remember his rank or anything?
I didn't look at his badge. It looked like a lieutenant, maybe.
That's all right. It'll get retconned next week. He'll be like a captain or a commander or something. So he notices him, right, and says that Mayfield notices this guy and says that he's worked under him in the past.
Yeah. If only he had a way to cover his face.
No kidding.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I literally yelled at the screen, that would be no problem if you had your fucking helmet on, you idiot.
Yeah.
Okay. So he walks back out of the mess hall, Mayfield does, and goes to Mando and says, I can't do this. We're aborting.
Within view of the guy.
That's right. And this guy knows me. I don't know whether or not he's actually going to recognize me, but, there's a very strong possibility that he might because I've worked for him before or worked under him before.
Yeah.
So Mando goes, I'll do it. And he goes, you got to show your face. And, of course, in the thing they were talking about, or Mayfield was saying, we all cross our boundaries or we all cross our lines when we're desperate. Mm-hmm. So, of course, Mando is desperate because he wants to get the child back, and he decides to do it. And he goes over to the terminal, and he takes the helmet off, and he gets his face scanned. Now, this, again, for me, is like, okay, this is an Imperial base, right? The scanning is for identification so that you can, wouldn't he be in the system under an Imperial or a non-Imperial?
Well,
system.
It needs to verify your identity.
I didn't really get this.
All you need is a face to get in. That's basically what they presented in this scene here. It's not verifying your identity. It's just saying, hey, it's a face and it's a human. And someone said in the chat earlier, like, oh, why is it in the mess hall? I've seen companies have like terminals where employees could access shit, but probably not this level of secure information. That was kind of weird. And again, there could have been a way to explain this if they wanted to. And again, I'm writing it for him. But like, let's say in the Thrawn trilogy, the real Thrawn trilogy, Mara had this backdoor password to get into any terminal. And they did. So, maybe this Bill Burr guy had something like that instead of just saying, oh, it needs a face. Can you do it? Because I don't want this guy to see me, even though he's already seen me standing right outside the door. It just made no sense from a logical story perspective.
Okay, so I must have missed something too, because I'm with Ryan on this. Hail, Ryan. Thank you.
There was no explanation. There was no explanation at all.
And Lord Vader says yes. So to Ryan, so he's saying that yes, you've missed something. So I must have missed that too, because as far as I'm concerned, it didn't explain how Mando's got security clearance. The only explanation that we got was from Mayfield saying that he needed to show his face to be able to get into the system. That's the only explanation.
You just need a face.
Yeah. Doesn't explain how he's got clearance to actually access the system.
You know what would have made sense?
And if you can, if we did miss that, Lord Vader, please tell us in the chat and let us know. Sorry, go on, Stick.
If it had been an old terminal and they scanned Boba Fett's face, that would have made sense because he has a clone face.
Yeah. That would have been better, yeah.
That would have made perfect sense.
But he has a face that they'd recognize, you know.
But they have a clone face. They probably would raise an alarm because there are probably no clones in the Empire anymore.
Yeah, but, you know, old terminal maybe, I don't know. But just proving that you have a face isn't really that secure.
That's without a face. Sorry.
Or if you have to prove you're not an alien, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Now, another thing that I think that Tuscan Bob brought up and I thought was quite funny is that he gets his helmet. He finally can take his helmet off in this episode. And I think he might get one line or even one word of dialogue with the helmet off. And it's in this, not that moment, the moment before when they're actually standing at the thing. He kind of like says maybe a couple of words, but that's about it.
Does he say a word?
No, there is like a small bit of dialogue where, okay, so this is where, sorry, let me just explain what happened. So the general guy, or whoever it is, this guy here, right?
General convenience.
The terminal is like over on this far wall, over sort of right over to in the corner of this room, and he sees Mando walk in because he's seen Mayfield walk in. He's made eye contact, and then Mayfield's walked out. They've had a discussion, and then Mando's walked in and walked straight over the terminal with this guy watching the whole time. So he walks over after he's finally accessed, because he first puts the thing in. He's got the helmet on. The scanner goes, and it obviously doesn't work, and it's got this alarm going off. And the general guy, or whoever it is watching him, and he takes the helmet off, it scans, and it then gives him access. Anyway, that guy walks over, and he starts questioning him. Now, of course, because he doesn't know, he actually asks for his TK number, right? And he doesn't know how all this Imperial shit works. So, hence again, how does he have clearance to their systems based on a facial scan? So Mayfield walks in and goes, "Hey, TK, blah, 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 blah. I'm TK, blah, blah, blah." And he tries to just sort of mediate and explain the situation to that general guy or the captain or fucking whatever. And in that moment, there is a line or at least a word from Mando because he's sort of confused, but he does say something, I believe. But again, that was pretty much it.
Did anybody hear the Office Easter egg in the episode?
Oh gosh, yes.
Did you hear it? Did you?
TPS reports.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Office Space. Sorry.
Oh no, I missed that.
He goes, "Oh, come on, let's get out here and go finish filling out those TPS reports." Yep.
So they try, like Mayfield tries to sort of just explain the situation, and then goes off and says, "We're going to fill out those reports or whatever." And he goes, "I didn't excuse you," or whatever. And then they both turn around, and he's like,
dismissed.
"You weren't dismissed. That's it." And then he goes, "You guys were the guys that brought in that only container of fuel that, the only transport that made it through." And he's like, "They're like, yeah," and that's when he's got the line. That's when he's got the line, because Mayfield goes, "Yes, sir." And he looks at him like, "Oh, I'm supposed to respond." And he goes, "Yes, sir." That's when he's got his line, or one word. "Yes, sir," 2 words. And he goes, let's have a drink. So the general guy takes them over to the table here. And I'm just going to say, in isolation, I liked this scene. And let me explain why. it gave great explanation to his backstory and how he feels about it, and he did a great job in this scene, I think, too, right? Of showing that emotion, basically. So when Mayfield worked under this guy sent out troops for, what was the mission called? He mentions it.
It's stupid Operation Cinder.
Operation Cinder. Let's toast to Operation Cinder, and he brings that up. Yeah. And Mayfield's getting really emotional about how basically this guy over here sent out tens of thousands of troops just to their deaths. And he starts taking it personally, but he's also mocking in that moment too. Like, he's like, at the very end of it, what he's saying is like, long live the Empire. And then, of course, Mayfield just, see that? Like, I paused on that specifically because, again, he did a good job of the way he acted it. It was really good. Really good.
Well, let me ask you this. Here's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, was the fact that this officer invited them to the table to have a drink, did that set the tone for a more informal conversation? Because you wouldn't think he would have appreciated the comments Mayfield was making here. It was almost anti-imperial. I'm like, why is he allowing this? Is it because, they're having a less formal conversation over a drink? I was definitely a little confused on that, because all imperial officers seem to be pretty hard-lined people in terms of imperial philosophy. So that was just a bit odd. But you're right, delivery and stuff was great from Burr.
And again, I want to give it credit where credit's due, but it's a very low bar, really, when it comes to all the other stuff. I can't stop reiterating that because, again, I definitely don't want to sit here and give this series credit because it doesn't really deserve too much. My opinion. Call me a retarded piece of shit. Go get therapy. That's cool. All right. So Bill Burr. Sorry, I've had a very. I wrote a thing on Twitter like, if you thought you'd seen me rage, wait till casual rage tonight. I haven't really raged out yet because I've had so much time to sort of think about it now that I just don't care. Who gives a fuck? All right, let's move on. So Bill Burr basically just after he says "Long live the Empire," Mayfield pulls out his blaster and just shoots him. And there's a look. Hang on, let me see if I can just get to that point because this bit, like, is like, what have you done? Again acted quite well. I hate Pedro Pascal, but I think when he had his helmet off, he did a fine job.
This is basically where the three options pop up in the game for you to select from.
Yeah, shoot the guy, finish the drink and walk out, or
join him.
Or join him and shoot Mando. He's not wearing his Beskar, he'll die. Awesome. This moment was pretty good too, because this is straight after. Sorry, I know I had to do this because I can't play. Like, my last stream got completely taken down worldwide. But there was a good moment where straight after he shoots him, this guy stops. He's got his plate. Again, I thought this sequence was done quite well. There was a bit of that comedic value in regards to the astonishment of all of these people in this mess room and him just pulling out a blaster and killing this guy.
That guy's like, did he just fucking do that?
And again, that look between Mando and Mayfield was good. And Mayfield and how he emoted, how he felt about what had happened, I thought was quite good. So that's just my thoughts on this scene. It was probably the best scene in the episode for me. Any other thoughts from anyone?
Good point, Ryan Kennel. Why does Mando have such a well manicured mustache under his helmet? Because reasons.
He takes it off when no one's looking and he trims that shit.
Yep. He can't take it off in front of Grogu because
hey, dude, the only way that we're going to get through this is if we write it all for them. So let's just keep going with that. Good idea.
Isn't that a bit weird though? Because he's wearing the helmet all the time. So why even bother having a mustache? or
I
bother
know.
to
Why,
shave
why
it
would
off.
he have like a full fucking beard with a shaggy
I
ass
wonder
mustache
if the
and shit?
child has seen his face.
He can't. He can't take it off in front of a sentient being.
I just want to say hello to a few new names that I've seen in the chat. Actually, there's
Generation
Chris, I
Productions.
saw Chris there,
Chris.
and oh, that was really it. There was one new name that I saw that I haven't already highlighted. Okay.
You know what? You know what? Mora's in the chat. I want to grab Mora's ankles, lift her up, and spin her around, and use her body to knock Pedro the fuck out. And I dedicate that one to Lethal Lightning.
Nice.
No, man, I've got an auto trim in that helmet. Huh, that's a good.
Okay,
Level 1, baby.
so they start to break out. Now I have skipped a fair bit here, but what happens is Mayfield then shoots this guy, gets up and shoots all the other guys. Right, Mando gets like there's two other guys sitting on a table sort of over here, and he shoots them as well. And then he hands Mando his helmet, and he goes, "I haven't seen your face." And he actually even looks away, and Mando's quite happy about that. He gives a little smirk, and he grabs the helmet and puts it back on his head. How does everybody feel about this? Like the helmet thing and like obviously Mando has now seen other Mandalorians, even Boba Fett, taking their helmets off. Maybe he's coming more to terms with the fact that you can still be Mandalorian and take your helmet off.
I think it's just because
No.
he did it because he has to get the child back in any way possible. That's all the reason.
I think it was done because he wanted to show his face this season, and this
And
whole
they
thing with the
bitched
terminal
and
made
bitched
no
about it.
sense.
Mhm.
So that's
They
what they
bitched
came
and
up
bitched.
with. That's what I think it is.
I think so too. Yeah.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
How you doing? Thanks for coming by.
Yeah,
I don't
thanks
think
for
it's
coming
that
on my video,
nuanced,
man.
Rhino. I think it's Pascal
Agreed.
wanted to show his face, and they're like, "Oh, we'll use this terminal thing that makes absolutely no logical sense."
Maybe he'll shut the fuck up then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been trimming his mustache and wants to show it off.
I know, right?
Well, he's taken it off before, not just with the droid, but when he ate in the ATST episode.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
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 You're right. That's exactly right.
He can take it off.
With the
It's not
window
like
open, like standing in front of the window, he ate soup, like sitting there. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you fucking doing? They can
we need to
see
go
you.
back and review those, but we'll probably go
Fucking
crazy.
idiot.
Okay, so after he hands him his helmet and he puts it back on, a whole heap more stormtroopers start coming running through the door. Mayfield shoots them all as they're coming through, while Mando gets up on this ledge
He
so
fucking
that they
stands
can
there.
kick out this shield,
fucking
so that
stands
they
there.
can climb out the window. In that moment, they're Cara Dune and May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Fennec Shand.
Fennec, yep. They are sniping and they're looking out for them, and they finally see them coming out through this window. While they're protecting them, May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Says
I swear to God, that
to
show's probably
Boba
worse.
that they're ready, so get moving. So again, this is another thing that I will say looks great. It looked fantastic seeing Slave One flying like
Seismic charges.
again the visuals are good. Visuals are good, but whoop-de-doo.
Remember seismic charges?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh,
I did
gosh.
kind of like that though. I will say that because Attack of the Clones is probably my favorite prequel. So
It was the way
like,
they
oh,
were
look.
used.
look,
It was
seismic charges.
how it was actually not the way they were used. It was how they worked. I thought first of all, they needed to make actual contact with something. Am I
they
wrong
didn't.
with that?
No, they didn't in Attack of the Clones. No, they did not.
They didn't hit any of those asteroids,
No.
and that's what made them explode.
No,
No, okay.
no.
So they can be destroyed remotely, or on a timer.
I believe that's. I don't know how they're
Proximity, who knows?
It's probably
Okay.
proximity, most likely.
All right. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm not going to see a therapist though.
Are you sure?
Yep. Let me just May.
Hey, Pedro's gonna need a therapist when I knock him out with Mora.
So yeah, they're being protected as they run up to the roof. They've got the data that they need to find where Gideon is, and they get onto Slave One. And then Mayfield basically asks for the rifle, and he blows up the transport, or at least one of the transports that's got the fuel in it.
This is literally a damn big explosion. Also,
And why not use the blasters, blaster cannons on Slave One? I don't know.
I don't think Boba Fett was worried about shooting the thing. I think he was worried about getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
This is a great shot, though. Looks amazing.
Again, I agree. Looks great. It does. And this is why I sort of half say that most of this feels like early in the sequel trilogy, when it all looked good, it all felt good, and all of this kind of thing. But again, you sort of step back, take a look, and it falls flat on its face.
I will say this: what did you guys think in the beginning, like when we actually see inside of Slave One, and how the ship moves when you're inside of it? What did you guys think of that?
I thought it was interesting. I was trying to figure out where the hell they were.
I thought it was really interesting as well too. I thought it was pretty cool sitting inside the ship for once, besides the cockpit.
Well, yeah, I know how the cockpit works because I've got the Slave One, and it actually rotates like how it works in that.
Yeah.
So when it lands, the actual cockpit swings up, so that you're up, and then when you're flying, it swings like that. Like it moves with how the ship is faced. That's the best way I think I can. Okay, so he blows it up. Cara Dune sees that Mayfield made this shot, and she gets like, a lady boner. And she kind of thinks maybe he isn't quite Imperial, because they have a little bit of a moment. It's a very small and, again, soft sort of moment, but Cara Dune's sort of accusing him of being Imperial, and he basically turns to her and says, if you want to say something to me, just say it, sort of thing. So they have that moment in the beginning, and then she realizes that, maybe he's not all that bad. And then we get the seismic charges.
Well, I know you're getting criticism in the chat. People want to see you flip out.
Lethal's
Lethal's disappointed.
Lethal's poking the bear.
maybe we can come back to this, and we can wrap it up with this again. So, and that'll get me going. I'm starting to get a little hangry, so that'll help.
Me too.
I'm hungry as shit too. Yeah.
All right, so the seismic charges. Ryan didn't have a problem with the TIE Fighter scene. All right. Again, I thought the seismic charges in the Clone Wars actually made contact, and that's how they exploded.
No, it's a seismic charge.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay. So
It doesn't.
I just thought it was quite funny that he'd use a seismic charge for 2 TIE Fighters. Wouldn't you just sort of? I mean, it's a quick ship. He's got that rapid fire.
Like I said, he was basically paying attention.
Maybe.
Paying attention a little callback to Attack of the Clones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what.
Member Berry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can say member Berry, or we can say, would we complain if it weren't consistent and he didn't use them?
Yeah.
So I can see it going both ways.
Me too.
Yeah.
I absolutely 100% agree with that. Tim.
I'll forgive him that one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And again, it did look good.
If he were in space, he could have, hit his etheric rudder and done a 180 and went boop, 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 but they were in an atmosphere and all that type of stuff. So,
yeah,
looked good. Looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yes. Well, we're nearly there. We'll get there. Okay. I think we're pretty much there. So, after that, they, of course, meet up with Cara Dune and May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And basically, Cara Dune says, I saw Mayfield die in that explosion. And Mayfield doesn't really know what to think of this. Mando goes, yeah, I saw that too. And they basically just let him go.
I thought she was going to recruit him. 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 I thought she was going to recruit him.
I thought they were going to try and recruit him too, but I suppose because he is a New Republic prisoner, they need to let him go. They can't be seen with him if they're reporting that he's dead.
Yeah.
New show idea. Bill Burr goes to that village and becomes a stand-up comedian, and the audience never laughs.
Sorry, I'm just reading this question. And I'm sorry, but no. Okay.
What?
Mayo?
Yeah. But so would you like a peanut butter and pickle sandwich with mayo?
With Mao.
Mao.
What's Mao?
China.
I don't get it. I thought it was referring to mayo. Like, anyway. This is the scene that Ryan's talking about. So basically, it cuts from them effectively leaving. Mayfield's been let go, and Moff Gideon gets this recording from Mando, and Mando repeats the line to Moff Gideon that he gave him at the end of season 1. Now, I'm going to play it. Fuck it. It's a claim, if anything. And
they'll probably kill the stream if you play it too long, man.
Yeah, just turn on the subtitles or something.
Yeah, do that. Turn the subtitles on and get the sound off.
Should we do it in a different language?
No.
Do it in German.
Just for the fun of it? All right. Let's turn the volume down.
He literally repeats what he says when Moff Gideon says to him in the first season.
Better pause it.
Yep.
See, the thing is that if I get done for this, I can at least just remove this piece from the stream and probably re-upload, or if it, I don't know. I don't really care.
Oh.
It's so funny. I've based my YouTube channel around Star Wars, and I just don't know. I don't know what to do.
I think that's the last line, right?
Yeah.
So he basically gives him forewarning so that more precautionary measures can be taken. Great idea, Din. Or should I say Dim?
It's kind of like when Palpatine announced his presence in Episode 9.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm still alive. I'm going to attack you now.
Yeah, why would he even let him know that he's coming after him? Just fucking do it. I was like, why are you talking to him?
That's actually really good. I was actually just reading that comment from Ryan.
Yeah, dude, I had the same problem too. I completely forgot to put it in my review. I remember it after while I was editing, and I'm like, where did I not say that part or something like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like Palpatine announcing his presence, isn't it?
It's stupid. It's fucking stupid.
You know, if Palpatine had done that with Order 66, he would have failed.
Oh, I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're coming for you, Jedi. We're going to kill you.
Yeah, it's like, I have the clones.
Well, let's be ready for
They're
it.
going to kill you now in a day or two.
Ready or not, here I come.
Exactly. That's my whole point. Like, it's just like Masters of the Universe and some kind of 80s cartoon storytelling. You really, really have to turn your brain off and just allow yourself to be wowed by the visuals and stuff.
I just want to say there's
Dumb
30
Dara.
people. There's 30 people here watching. I appreciate all of you for being
Smash the
here
like button.
and for allowing me to have my say without calling me a retard that needs to go see a therapist. Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, that's it. That's the end. That's where we end. So I now truly do believe that we're going to be ending this season on the point where they've infiltrated the ship
Cliffhanger.
and they're trying to make their way off the ship with the child. or he sets up a trap or something like that, and it'll end.
Yeah, it's going to end with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
They get captured or something.
Yeah.
Or someone sacrifices him or herself to...
I don't give a fuck anymore. Who fucking cares? I think about season 3, like, what am I
Muff Gideon.
with season 3? Do I go through this with season 3? I don't know. 30 likes, 1 Karen. Interesting.
Well, if you go through this with season 3, you're probably gonna need therapy.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Congratulations. Thank you, Blake. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So, any sort of last thoughts on this episode that we sort of missed or passed, or?
I don't think so.
I think Ryan wants a link.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
I couldn't wait until I could see Tuscan Bob's review, because he always notes the same, story fallacies that I do. And like I said earlier, we were almost completely in sync. Like, oh yeah, that and that and that and that and that. And we even exchanged a few others that we had missed. And you don't even have to get into lore, like we said earlier, to have objections to this. It's the story itself. There's so many, like the helmet and why this terminal and this and that. It's just so much. It's just, I can't turn my brain off like that. Now, for some other shows, you probably can, like if it's a comedy or something like that. But this is supposed to be a serious Star Wars show. And you really, really have to turn your brain off.
One of the first things I learned about writing is, as long as you can explain who, how, and why, all through the story, if you can make the reader know who, how, and why, you've done a good job. The problem with Disney Star Wars is that they can't do the how. And that's been the problem all through, the movies and the shows. It's the how. How can this happen when we're told something different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, I shot you that link if you wanted to come on. If you hadn't seen it, just letting you know. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Another reason why I decided to at least give my 3-minute thoughts on tonight's episode, even though I really just didn't want to watch it, I did it because there's a lot of people out there that are... Sorry, I completely missed my point because Ryan jumped in and interrupted me, and it's so early in the morning. Are you ready to come in? All right.
I cucked you from the back room.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't even have to say anything, and I just interrupted your thought.
Yeah, you did. And again, it is nearly 3 in the morning, so it's early. How you going, Ryan?
I'm doing good. I had a question for you guys, and something I've been thinking about ever since yesterday, and I haven't really seen anyone else talk about it. One of the things that we didn't get announced yesterday, basically the only show that's not getting made, is a Boba Fett show. But we've been hearing reports for the past month or two that there's a Boba Fett show filming right now.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to film first, Boba Fett season 1 or Mandalorian season 3.
Same thing. Well, what if it's the same thing? Mando dies and Boba Fett takes over.
That's what I'm thinking.
We talked about that early in the stream. Yep.
Yeah,
I think that too.
So, another thing.
Good theory.
What happened to the Rostico show?
Well,
I guess I didn't get that.
Well, there has been literally... There's been like 20 or 25 proclamations of, this show, that show. Some of them didn't happen. Some of them were announced that we kind of thought were dead in the water. I don't know. I will say, for anybody that was trying to convince me that I was wrong, that, they said that this one article said the Leslie Headland series is going to be an alternate timeline. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you're just misreading this quote, and that misread quote then got propagated to every single article because that's how these things work.
Yeah.
Turns out I was right. So fuck yourself if you're saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit journalism is what it is.
Lethal wants to knock Rose Tico the fuck out.
Well, I think that the Boba Fett thing, it's if anything, it would be the Mandalorian. I mean, when you look at the wall that they've still got up, the Mandalorian's still there. Where you know we're at least getting one more season. They could evolve that into if they did want to kill off, let's say, Mando. I still think it's going to go the other way. I think they're going to kill off. I know we keep hearing about the Boba Fett series or whatever. Is that being confirmed that they're actually filming that, or is it just a rumor?
No, it's just been rumors, and that's
okay.
It was something that everyone expected to be announced today or yesterday.
Yeah, right. So my theory is that Boba Fett's dying and Mando's taking Slave One, and that's going to be his new ship. That's if they continue the Mandalorian series past the third season.
Jeff has the opposite theory.
Or maybe they don't, and halfway through this third season, Mando dies and he takes his ship. He finishes off the season with Slave One, and it just leaves it open for another story sometime in the future or something like that. That's my theory on it. I think...
Here's the theory, though.
For me, if they're going to kill off Boba Fett, I'd rather it be in his ship and they blow up his ship and he's gone.
Wouldn't it be interesting
Giancarlo
if...
Esposito said in an interview with Slash Film that there's going to be a fourth season. So,
well, wouldn't it be interesting though if the Mandalorian guy dies? You know, Pedro's been a problem and all that.
Dumb Jara.
And Boba Fett takes over, and Boba Fett gives Luke Baby Yoda.
We lost Ryan and we gained Greg.
We gained semi-bisexual Cupid?
Yeah, so they under-promised and over-delivered on your internet, huh, Greg?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I was watching on my phone in my bedroom, and then I looked at my computer, and I was like, oh, it reloaded. Okay.
Cool. I'm going to move. I'm going to put Ryan there so Cupid can be shooting Ryan now.
I can't even fucking see it. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
You can see it on the playback when Greg's got this like screen thing on where he's basically this talking Cupid with it's funny. It looks funny. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up again. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you're bringing up the picture with all the Series A announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't have the Boba Fett thing up there too. I was surprised, Ryan.
Okay, so I just obviously Ryan, you weren't here for the early part of the stream. Basically, what I was saying and why all of these announcements of everything kind of piss me off more than me being happy about it, right? And it really comes down to this. First of all, Bob Iger said that they were going to slow down and actually start to get these stories right and all of this kind of stuff. Now, this doesn't look like slowing down. Yes, we have had the COVID shit. And that's definitely put a spanner in the works. It's given them probably time to sit down and maybe nut out what they want to do. But to get 10 series being announced. Now, I know with Lucasfilm, it's announcement after announcement, and it's all bullshit, right? Well, a lot of it has been bullshit. There has been stuff that they've announced and they've produced, but there's been a lot that they've announced and it's been bullshit.
But two of these things were announced fucking years ago, and they're re-announcing it again.
Yeah, and they're not under any obligation to actually be truthful to us as far as how far any of these things are in production.
Exactly.
They can cancel every one of these or none of them, and they don't have to disclose other ones that they're working on.
Yeah,
they could be holding off Boba Fett simply because they don't want to spoil these last 2 episodes of Mandalorian.
Like I said, Saturday night.
Say in the chat, by the way.
Sorry?
There were more than a few things that weren't announced. 2 shows are greenlit and not one word yesterday.
Yeah. What were you saying, Greg? Jeff, sorry?
I was just saying about Culture's comments. That
But
he said,
like Saturday, we should go through every show on this screen and say, here are the chances it actually sees the light of day. That would be
I
kind of
agree
a
with that.
fun
We'll
exercise.
we'll definitely do that. But another thing for me is the fact that I do believe that the Mandalorian has saved Kathleen Kennedy's job, and she is definitely going to infiltrate all of these series with the identity politics and the bullshit that comes along with Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. I don't believe that they've changed course at all, despite what other people would think in regards to the Mandalorian changing or turning the corner. And I don't see any change happening as long as Kathleen Kennedy is at the helm of Lucasfilm. The next thing for me would have to be the fact that a lot of these things are being announced like female-centric. It's all female-centric, and this is female-centric, and this and that. It's just basically, again, that whole thing that, can you tell me what this fucking thing's about? Not that just it's a fucking diversity fucking quota, and it's...
Quantity over quality, man. That's right.
It's just, like, that shits me to tears. Like, especially with the... which one was it?
But the two most worrisome ones are Acolyte,
The
which
Acolyte.
is the one.
And Rogue Squadron.
The description of it, like some dark side power, something rising at the end of the High Republic era. Maybe Plagueis was probably trained by a woman. That's probably what's going to happen.
Probably.
And then the Lando one. So I mentioned the Lando one right off. I recorded the presentation, and one of the things that Kathleen Kennedy said in the thing, and it's in the press releases. Oh, it's from the writer of Dear White People.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be taught by Lando Calrissian why white people are trash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cinder.
Yeah, in a galaxy where there really aren't any racism.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's racism against other
There's
species.
there is xenophobia. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And then the very last thing really comes down to, if the Mandalorian is good enough, then these 10 series that they're going to come out with are essentially going to be the same sort of writing, the same sort of crap, the same sort of law-breaking stuff. Like, I'm going to always come back to ships jumping into hyperspace from gravity wells. These sorts of things are the things that really do get on my nerves, and I will always point that out. And again, if that's where the pinnacle is now for people, well, congratulations, you got what you wanted. You're getting 10 new series that are going to be written just as good as The Mandalorian. Well done.
Well, honestly, I think The Mandalorian, I think that this is the most competent group, Filoni and Favreau, that they have at their hands, and they're going to be in charge of New Republic Rangers and Ahsoka. The other ones are a shot in the dark, and for instance, I think that the chick who's doing Obi-Wan, I forget her name, Deborah Chow. I thought her episodes of The Mandalorian were okay. I thought they were pretty good. So I would have some hope for that, except the fact that, evidently Obi-Wan and Anakin are going to have a rematch.
Yeah, that's the thing that actually scares me the most out of all of this.
Yeah, she even said in an interview today too.
Now, I could give her a pass on the fact that she knows jack shit, that she said something that she didn't even know what she was talking about.
But she's the showrunner.
Ewan McGregor said it. Kathleen Kennedy said it.
Deborah said it too.
So
again, I'm going to say all
we're going to get a fight that ends in a draw.
Enjoying this turn that they've made for you all. Well, enjoy them now destroying Obi-Wan's arc as well, and Vader's arc from A New Hope. Well done. Well done.
Last time we met, I was but the apprentice. Now I am the master.
Yeah. I have not felt a presence since...
Except that one time we fought too. Remember that one?
Well, I have not felt this presence since...
They're pulling a Count Dooku.
2 years
They're
ago.
pulling a Count Dooku from the Clone Wars.
Lethal spam in the chat.
Yeah, well, to be fair, though, they already ruined Obi-Wan and Anakin's arc with episodes 9.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I do understand that, but this now destroys it even more. It destroys it now. It's destroying A New Hope even more.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, also with the Kenobi series or Obi-Wan series, we know that there's going to be a woman within the whole time because of that casting call that it was put out not too long ago. So they're going to have some female come in and be better than he is, and let him learn lessons from her because she's so perfect.
Well, I found that
guaranteed.
funny. I found that funny
Cuck
that
his
we
ass
were
like that is
all
fucking stupid.
sort of criticizing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series for the casting call of sort of what we are seeing to be possible wokeness coming
Oh,
into
you know what's going to happen? I'm going to
But
call it
then
now.
Hayden Christensen gets announced, and it's like, yay.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen is that second, the female lead, she's going to sacrifice herself to save Obi-Wan, so that everything Obi-Wan does from there on out is because of a woman.
Hail culture, by the way. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, yeah, that could.
Yeah. Well, to be
I
fair,
could see
Steve, to be fair, in probably one of our favorite Kenobi stories, Kenobi, there is a woman that plays a pretty significant role in it, Annalene.
Man, she's awesome.
Earlier. Yeah.
Right. So like I have said all along, I think they're probably going to take a lot from that book, and just because they cast a woman doesn't mean it's woke.
No,
and
but
I tried to make that clear in my video. But yeah, the casting call does look like they're looking. Oh, Latinx, POC.
Yep, Latinx.
Yeah, all the garbage. So.
Yeah.
You made a video on that too, I believe, didn't you?
But it's like, okay, we've got.
I gotta go, guys. I'm driving.
No worries.
Bye.
Thanks for coming
See you,
by,
Ryan.
Cheers. Everyone go subscribe to Ryan if you're not already. I'm sure most of
please.
you are, because I've got 1,000 subscribers and 30 people watching. He's got 40,000 subscribers
40,000
and
now.
usually about 700 people watching. So thank you, Ryan, for coming by. I appreciate you. I find it funny though that this the Acolyte has been announced as female centric. Again, Ahsoka's going to be essentially female centric. This is predicted to possibly be female centric. This is going to be droid fucking centric. This is probably going to be droid fucking centric.
Did you hear about the droid thing too? It's
Yeah,
it's going to be C-3PO and R2-D2, but another droid that'll be the main character. They'll be like they're gonna ruin them too, guarantee it.
I don't think I've actually.
C-3PO's gone for me already anyway, so.
I'm so sorry, guys in the chat. I falsely advertised. I don't think I've got the rage in me tonight, because I'm honestly now at a point where I'm like
apathetic.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
If I had
Like
screamed at like 1 o'clock this afternoon, like about 12 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 14 hours ago actually now, you would have seen my head explode. Like, I would have just been going off, but I'm now at a point where I'm, numb. It's a good way to describe it, Todd. Yeah. I just, like, again, I say that these, there's a lot of series again in here that are female-centric or being promoted as female-centric, and you really think that the Obi-Wan series isn't going to be sort of somewhat female-centric? I don't know.
Well, what's going to happen is when Anakin faces Obi-Wan, and we didn't realize this in the OT because he had the robes on, but Anakin returns the favor and chops off Obi-Wan's dick, so he becomes trans.
This man has no dick.
Obi-Wan.
So it really, the battle in the OT is between two dickless dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking of doing today when all of this sort of stuff happened? I was thinking of actually doing a video going, well, this is the end of my Star Wars part of my channel, and I was going to grab all of these and like one of my big containers from downstairs and just smash them all into the container.
What?
Why the hell would you do that?
What?
Why would you do that?
Because I'm so over Star Wars that I just
he's rage quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's raging.
That's like me on trivia.
That's probably going through my head. I was so fucking angry.
He's like me on trivia.
So angry. I'm so angry.
A little bit, Jeff. Yeah. I fucking blew the last round. Fuck.
I did. I fucked myself on that one big time.
Well, look, Cena's like, does anybody, like, we've talked about this at the beginning. I only sort of wanted to bring it back up again because Ryan was able to jump in and sort of get some of his thoughts on some of these things. Does anybody want to say? Okay. Let's forget this. Greg, you sort of dropped out. So give us your now overall thoughts on the episode and the things that you did and didn't like throughout.
Oh, the Mandalorian episode?
Yeah.
Well, you'll see in my Tuscan Bob video that
which we are going to play.
Amazing. Yep.
It's just
gonna play
more nonsense. Just things happening because they have to. It's frustrating. Like, I can't even get into the lower parts of it because when I'm watching this thing, I can't get past the stupidity of the protagonist, the antagonist, like everybody in here just doesn't. Nothing makes sense. I mean, you guys were wrapping up at the end of the episode. Like, why would you telegraph that move, Mando? That you're headed for? Like, hey, Gideon, I know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
What's Gideon do? He's in a ship. Okay, I'll move.
Yeah.
Oh, guess you're fucked now, Mando. I'll disconnect from the network and I'll just take my ship in hyperspace somewhere else. You can't find me.
And send Baby Yoda somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just
exactly.
So
Try to
stupid.
seek.
But even down, like, I mean, the terminal thing blew my mind. I couldn't get past that. Like, the fact that it just needs a face. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. A face.
You have eyes and a nose. You're good. But the fact that the one terminal in the entire base, the one terminal in the entire base that you can use, happens to be in the kitchen. That's the only terminal out of all the bases that are left over and around throughout the galaxy. Because it seems like every other episode we're finding a new Imperial base, right? They had to go to that particular one in order to do it.
Yeah, they had to go to the kitchen to find the recipe for success.
The pirates are like, cultural appropriation for Tuscan.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And they're beyond stupid. Like, why would you wait till they're like within like a mile of their destination before you ambush them? Like this is a really easy ambush, right? They're traveling on the one road that goes through the entire area. Like, you can't plant some fucking thermal detonators like
in front of them
below the road in front of where they're going and blow them up. Like, holy cow.
I didn't even think of that.
Actually, the thermal detonators, you could set them to explode on impact. So
there you go. Like, there's a number of things you could do to ambush. Like, it's the one road. Like, you know exactly where they're coming from and you know exactly where they're going.
Or set one of those skiffs. Set one of those skiffs to have like a collision course, and it's packed full of thermal detonators.
Right, because the whole thing was that this material in them was super unstable, and it went redline even when he started driving fast and jostled a little bit. Like, all you need to do is like throw one thermal detonator like underneath the tires, and that should have been enough to
disable it at least.
Well, blow up the unstable fuel that was in there. Mm-hmm. Like, it just. I can't get past stuff like that. Like, the seismic detonators and everything, that cool looking, cool sounding, yay. But like, I can't get past the other stuff.
It's so weird watching you talk while your eyebrows are moving like that. I'm going to answer this quickly for Will. All right, you just woke up and you want to know what happened. They broke out Mayfield out of prison. Mayfield is going to help them find a way to track Moff Gideon's ship. They need to go to an Imperial base on a planet that's a refinery base. They come up with a plan. Stop doing that, Greg. They come up with a plan to infiltrate this base by getting on one of their fuel carriers, and they get ambushed by pirates, which they then defend the thing against. They make it to the Imperial base. Mando takes his helmet off to scan into the computer, which he shouldn't really have access to because he's not an Imperial, so he shouldn't have security clearance. Mayfield has a dispute with an ex-boss of his, and he kills him. And then they've got to blast their way out of there. Slave 1, Cara Dune, and May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. help them escape. And they let Mayfield go. And Mando repeats the line about how important Baby Yoda is from the end of the end of season 1. Mando repeats that exact quote back to Moff Gideon and says he's basically
I'm coming for you, so you can go.
And
hide
basically
somewhere
says,
else.
"I'm coming for you." There's the episode in a nutshell.
You know what? It starts with them needing to track Gideon, right? That's where they should have used the fob.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all they had to do. Use the fob that they had all through season 1.
Yeah. Correct. I didn't even think of that.
It's in his
Mando
pocket.
could have just gone back, got one of the old tracking fobs from fucking Navarro.
Yeah, because Baby Yoda is already tagged.
Or however the fuck they work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Didn't
he
even
could track
think
Baby
of
Yoda before with the fob. Then you should be able to track Baby Yoda again.
So hold on. Let's just ignore that and let's think about the last episode where I've been tracking you, Mandalorian. Why he was right there by that Imperial cruiser? Why didn't he hit it with one of the trackers when he was in Slave 1? Then they could track Gideon that way. Because if he can track Din Djarin, why can't he track the Imperial cruiser?
Because they needed one more episode for the season.
Correct.
Interesting. Sounds good to you, Will? Cool.
Yeah, he's giving you the signal.
When in doubt, fob. All right. That's pretty much the end of the show, guys. I'm exhausted. It's just past 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been going for 2 3/4 hours. So yeah, I'm quite exhausted. Worked all day and been pissed off for half of that day. So look, I want to thank everyone in the chat for hanging out. It looks like there's a lot of agreement in the chat, I feel. Again, I do want to point out that I don't mind people liking this because I'm now so disattached from it that if that's what you want, then okay, enjoy. I'm over it, and I've reiterated that point I don't know how many times tonight. Anyway, so again, thank you to the chat, everyone. Thank you to my panelists. Jeff, please tell everyone where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, you can find me at the Geek Flynn on YouTube and Twitter and all those other places. I put out my Mandalorian review. It is out right now if you guys want to check it out. I have a Bad Batch trailer reaction coming later, and I'll probably doing some videos over the weekend to discuss all the different announcements and some of the Marvel stuff too. Also, Rage You Geek Jedi show tomorrow night. Don't forget, guys, watch the movie that we will be doing the trivia on. Don't forget, it's Temple of Doom, right?
I'm gonna make the trivia. Yeah, I'll do it. I did it in 45 minutes and it was great. So
that's why I said it, because I wanted you to remind you right there. So yeah, but yeah, come subscribe to the channel.
He likes working under a time crunch.
I do.
Yes, he does. He really does. He does it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, come.
I perform under pressure.
Come out, check out the show on Saturday night. We're gonna have a good time. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And thank you again for coming on and
thanks for having
me. Talking about Mando. Stig Kenobi, thank you again for coming, and please let everyone know where they can find you, even though you don't want them to find you. And
hopefully I'll be on the quiz though.
Yes,
hopefully, because I had a great time last time.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
We'll get you on, man, for sure.
It's so funny. Everybody talks about the quizzes and they love like trivia nights and things like that. It's really a lot of fun.
I like hanging out with you guys too. It's fun to talk to.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe I'll be on Sporking's channel on Monday talking about the Game of Thrones books. If I'm awake. And then on Thursday, I think I'm going to be on Alora's channel talking about more EU comics. We're doing the Clone Wars ones. So, other than that, get the fuck off my lawn.
Nice. Please go and subscribe to Stig so we can get another top 5. And we've got the semi-bisexual Tuscan Bob,
Cupid.
Greg. Thank you for coming by and being entertaining with your little whatever you want to call it. Please let everyone know where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Arrow.
Lost Jedi 22 on YouTube, Twitter, Parler, you name it. Also, Tuscan Bob on Rumble, but I haven't uploaded to Rumble, so
Nice.
Probably wouldn't bother yet. As far as things coming up, just the regular streams that I do. Saturday night, Raging Geek Jedi show.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my new Tuscan Bob video's out, and I did a bonus Tuscan Bob video yesterday, actually.
Sorry.
Oop, it sounds familiar.
Yep. I'm just.
So if you haven't caught that one, it's kind of a parody about the Disney announcements and the ridiculous spin-offs.
Yeah, I did like that. It was funny. It was short. Mm-hmm. It's like under a minute.
Yeah, it's like 44 seconds long. So
yeah, go and watch
certainly
that,
will
guys.
not occupy your day.
Yeah. It was entertaining.
Also, I forgot to mention, too, on Sunday nights with the Star Trek watch parties with me and Tim and Greg, Greg usually does give us a preview of the Monday night trivia categories. So if you guys join us for the Star Trek streams, you might get a little bit of a heads up. So plus we have
small strategic advantage for the
we have fun
movie
with
specific
too.
categories.
Yeah, and we're not going to do it at any particular time. So
yep,
just gonna let it
pop
ride.
in and join us and have a good time. We have fun watching Star Trek.
We do.
Me and Tim always point out the hot women in Star Trek.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, again, semi-bisexual Tuscan Bob, Greg, thank you for coming by. Tim, Open Airlock Policy, please, thank you for coming. Let everyone know where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, all of our links are in the chat, and just last night I finally debuted my project I've been talking about, my series, The Expanded University. I'm going to be just releasing a lot of stuff, hopefully well-researched. The one I put out last night was certainly well-researched. I did a lot of reading and different reference books and stuff, and something pretty interesting that is totally random that might look like Disney yet again stole another EU idea that actually never materialized because the project was canceled 25 years ago, for Solo. So pretty interesting video, but I'm going to be doing reviews of EU books and just talking about all kinds of expanded universe stuff. So it got a pretty good reaction, so I'll keep on doing that. And then, of course, Star Trek and Raging Geek Jedi and all that. So, yeah. Check it out, subscribe, and comment. I got a lot of comments on that video, and it was fun going back and forth. So
it was a good video. And
Thank you.
So it's you get a lot of good knowledge out of it, and it's short and sweet, and it's really good. It's really good. So, yes, go and check out Open Airlock Policy's channel. Give him a sub, and all of these guys, please do all of that. All of it for all of them. It was a good thing.
We're passionate.
For me, I've got, of course, the Full Aussie tomorrow night or later today, depending. I don't know. I don't know how it works anymore. I'm so confused. But yes, Full Aussie on Lethal Lightning's channel. Go over and sub to Lethal Lightning so that you can find out when we go live for that. And yeah, I'm trying not to pay attention to it. Oh man, I'm not really sure what videos I'm going to do. I put out a couple this week and I put out a couple last week, and I've been doing a little bit more. So I'm hoping that I can sort of stay a little consistent with it. I might give my thoughts on Marvel stuff that got announced as well.
Are you still playing Cold War?
I am still playing Cold War.
Are you going to do like a video on that, like a review or like impressions on it or anything like that?
I never thought of that. I might actually do that.
Yeah, you should do that.
I might actually do a review on the game. But I'm definitely going to be getting a capture card soon, and hopefully I can start streaming some gaming, and we can just sort of hang out and game a bit and stuff like that. So
you need to start playing Jedi Academy 2.
Jedi Academy 2, okay.
Oh yeah, that one and Jedi. Jedi Knight 2 and then Jedi Academy. Because if you like the EU, that there is the best, some of the best EU you'll ever get.
Those are great games, by the way. They really are. You see that KOTOR 2 is coming to mobile as well, next week or the week after?
But
Yeah.
you can't have big tits and a dick.
I'm probably, yes, Lethal, that's you. I can't. I'm probably going to do that, Lethal. Yeah. After what happened, I probably will. Anyway.
Oh, by the
Again-
way, sorry,
Yeah, go
Rhino,
on.
that one you put out with the clips, I thought that was fantastic. Selection of stuff
from the show,
from our
Absolutely.
stream.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great idea.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, I'm not getting into that now. So tonight I'm going to leave
show.
you all with, of course, how can we do a
Tongue
casual
Skin
rage
Bob.
without the good old Tuscan Bob?
Dude, Jesus.
Let's watch this. Why is that like that? That's weird. Okay. Yes, let's go.
I've seen this one already.
Very funny. The music.
Barely hear it.
I can't hear it very much at all. There we go.
Is it really low?
Yeah, we got it.
I suppose we don't really need too much volume.
We can hear it fine now.
Yeah. Reunite.
I thought you were going to say Avengers Assemble.
I thought you were too.
I was going to, but
Codebreaker.
Look how clean his armor is, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, they probably had Gina Carano wash it because she's a woman.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
deeply offended.
You're so right, semi-bisexual Tuscan Bob.
What's that?
I was just saying how right Tuscan Bob is.
Bang. Give me back my son.
That's gold.
Yes, it is. I know, right? I love that. But he's like, no, I'll talk for you, bitch.
Nice.
The only thing that would have been better is if he had to actually mime some shit. Pedro. Like all this time he's got to wear a helmet and try and act, and now he gets the helmet off and he says 0 words. It just sits there looking
awesome.
at Bill Burr's character, going, no, don't, no. Oh fuck! That's all he does.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. We will see you all next week for another episode of Casual Rage, I suppose. Good night, everyone.
Later.